You good? Yeah.
Shalom. Shalom. Just want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
The
Yahweh,
house by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Kadash.
double honors to our venerable apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, we're back out here once again, all right, to prophesy, all right, the downfall of America. Not only that, but also give warning. Okay, somebody give me Ezekiel 3:17. All right, that's what the office of a prophet. Okay, the office of a prophet is not to come out here and give therapy sessions. We're not here to sell you an idea. We're not here to sell you prosperity like these churches do. Okay, we're not here to sell you fear. We're here to just give you warning. Okay, so you got people who come around us, you know, because of what happened the past few months, the past year. All right, struck a lot of fear in a lot of people. They saw a lot of the prophecies happening, so they start to come around, brothers, man. You know, they start to seek Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Now that they see things going back to normal, so-called back to normal, they start to let their guard down again, and that's when you're gonna get caught. All right, give me Ezekiel 17 real quick.
Yeah,
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me.
That's right. So, warning, when you give somebody warning, what does it mean? You're telling them of impending danger. All right, something big is about to happen, not just here in America, all right, but around the world that's going to affect you and your life. All right, your life is going to be put in danger. And we're telling you the right things to do, the things that you're going to do to navigate you into the right way of the path of salvation. A lot of people don't want to hear it. All right, you look at it as hate speech. You look at it as threats. All right, you look at it as fear mongering. Nah, we're just giving you a warning, man. You know, because if you really want to know about terror, just wait till the times that we're coming in, man. Your own government is about to do terrorist activities on you people. Have you thought about that? Huh? The whole world as it's constructed right now is an act of terror against humanity. How about that? But you don't hear people using that narrative because it doesn't fit the narrative of the ones who are oppressing you, man. You know, you look at your oppression as a privilege. You don't see it as an oppression, man. There's something wrong with a lot of people out here, man. But at the end of the day, there's judgment that's going to be carried out regardless. All right, because the Lord, if you could give me, if you continue reading down on that real quick. All right, there's judgment that's coming for those who don't pay attention to the warnings that's being given out by the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, okay, go ahead, brother.
All right. Verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand.
Right. So you got a lot of people, all right, even here in Israel, who go out there and they don't even teach the true words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They claim that we don't even have the name of the Lord, man. That don't even make no sense. Because the scriptures tell you that you can't, it's a law, it's part of the commandments, part of the 10 commandments that says, do not use the Lord's name in vain. Right. So how are we going to, that law cannot even be kept if we don't even have the name of the Lord, man. Right. You know, you got people who say Jesus Christ. They say shit like Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my fucking God. What about that? You think the Most High his name is going to be Jesus Christ and God? That anyone could just spew those kind of shit out their mouth, man? It's impossible, man. You know, you never hear that. Yo, when we even use the name of the Lord in our regular conversations, we say the Most High, we say the Lord. Very rarely would you hear the word Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, man, unless you're blessing somebody or you're cursing somebody or something like that, man. So on, man. You know, that goes to show you the importance of the name of the Lord, man. You know, it's a sacred thing. A lot of people got put to death because of the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But we live in a world, all right, where iniquity has sprung forth throughout the whole earth. A lot of people have forgotten the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And that fear is coming very soon. And it's not going to be with no, like the scriptures say, it will be with no mixture, man. You know, it's just pure, unadulterated anger, and the Lord is going to spew that right here in America, man, and around the world too. If you get caught up in the second death, all right, the pain and suffering that's coming over here, the judgment, all right, it's going to be one like never before. And that's the warning that we're giving our people, man. This is not a time to be taken lightly. All right, the Lord is giving you the doors of mercy while they're still open. All right, the scriptures we're gonna get into in Second Esdras. Don't take your liberty, for naught. Okay, use it as a chance to turn back to the Most High. All right, this is your only chance. This is the last chance, man. The Most High is done playing games. All right, continue on that, brother.
Like Eminem said, you only get one shot. Now it's your chance.
There you go. There you go.
This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verse 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity. But thou hast delivered thy soul.
Right. So a lot of people that we know personally, they're gonna partake in that death. And now we don't feel bad because remember, this ain't our judgment. We were sent by the Heavenly Father to give you warning from what's coming. That's like you getting mad at a weatherman because you have plans to go on a date on a Saturday night. And the weatherman says, yo, Saturday night, we're gonna have a snowstorm. The whole city gonna shut down. And you get upset. And you start cursing out the weatherman. Like you just cursing yourself out because there's nothing you're gonna do. The weather's not gonna get better. Your plans are ruined. End of story. Look for something else to do then. How about that?
Yeah, but shouldn't you be grateful to the weatherman because he's giving you a heads up? Because if he didn't say anything, you would have just found out the hard way. You would have just went out there and got wet with your date or whatever the case may be. You know, so you get mad at the weatherman as if he has control, like people get mad at us as if we're the ones bringing the judgment. We're just telling you ahead of time so you can repent. Because if we don't, but see, in a sense, if we don't do it, then the Lord's gonna get our ass. All right, so we're really trying to save ourselves as well. So that's why our job, the Lord never commanded us to go hold anybody's hand. The Lord didn't command us to make sure you understand. He commanded us to go and give the word. In 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, it says what? I planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase. So we got work to do. You know, we got to constantly, because there's constantly people who are hearing this word. So we got to constantly put this word out. You know, we give it to you and we keep on pushing. If you're hungry, you're going to find the food and you're going to eat it.
Whole thing is forced to the water, but you can't make it drink.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what we doing is we just leading you to the path. It's up to you to follow that path.
Right. And the scriptures say, my sheep heareth my voice. All right, Yahushua said that.
Right.
So understand, if sheep is hearing voices, all right, if Yahushua is saying his sheep is going to hear his voice, that makes it possessive. That means that the whole sheep is not his sheep. He got his elect sheep in there, in the fold, exclusive. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to hear the voice. Like, for example, when you have a dog, all right, and then you take it out, you know, whatever, and it's playing with all these other dogs. And the owner of that dog comes around, that dog is going to stop and run to the owner because they know their owner, man. They're not going to keep running around, go to a different owner. No, the rest of the dog's not going to run to you. They don't know you. It's the same thing. So when we keep giving out this word, to some people it sounds foreign. There are certain questions people might ask, and you will know right away you're not part of the fold of the Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You just know. And other people, they ask certain questions, you already know you potentially could be part of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's fold, man. If you continue doing what you're doing, because only the Lord's fold will do exactly what you're doing right now. All right, and Lord willing, we are part of that fold, all of us over here, and everyone preaching and doing the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua in truth and in sincerity, man. Okay, from your heart. Understanding, number one, internally it's an obligation, and number two, you're doing it willingly because that's what the Lord said. All right, part of the sacrifice, it should be done willingly, man. Not willfully, but willingly. Those are two different things. Okay, those are two different things, man. But go ahead with that.
And the scriptures say that, you know, preaching the word, all right, not as by, you know, like you're being forced, but willingly, you know, because if you don't have the passion to teach the word, you're just going to go out there and just, let me just get it over with, let me just do this, do that, you know. But if you're passionate about it, and a part of that passion, all right, is you learning. You see, look, think about it like this, right? If you have a chef, you know, who, you know, makes food or whatnot, and he constantly makes the same dish over and over and over again, it's going to get to the point where he's just going through the motions. All right. So the first time he made it, it may taste good, but then maybe the 50th time he makes it, it just tastes regular. Because now he's just like, yeah, throw that in there, throw that in there, throw that in there. He's not really, all right, let me make sure this is good. I really want to see how I'm tasting it, taste tests. He's not doing any of that, right? But if he's learning new recipes to make new meals, it's not going to be the same because he's not going to just go through the motion. You know, he's going to say, all right, well, this isn't just like that. I don't know, that rice I made before. This one, I got to do it this way. So he's going to pay more attention to it. And so us as teachers as well, we got to constantly be studying and finding ways, how can we improve on ourselves? You know, see, you can learn new things, but you can also learn how to improve on your old things. Okay. So you might have somebody, and brothers have different lots, you know, brothers have different you know, different talents that the Lord gave us. You know, a brother might be very keen on a certain topic, so he might spend more of his time going into that topic on how to constantly improve. So if you want to deal with history, for example, he might constantly be learning more and more and more. So each time you come, he could give you a little bit more here. Another brother might deal with herbs. You know, you may come there one time, I got a cold. All right, he knows how to, you know, help you with your cold. But he has to learn more. So in case you come with something more than a code, he can help you there. So he's sharpening his aspect. So all of us have different lots, but there's no point in this truth where you should say, well, I've reached max, you know what I mean, max capacity, level cap, prestige, grandmaster, whatever you want to call it, and there's nowhere else I could go from now. That's impossible. Because even our elders and apostles are constantly learning new things, you know, constantly bringing out new information, going into this, going into that, you know. And you look at the different videos and epistles they've done, you're like, yeah, it's impossible to even try to catch up in terms of knowledge and the things they've learned, because it wasn't overnight. You know, but even still, they're learning more and more and more. So you like, for men who've dedicated 30 plus years of their life to learning and teaching, all right, and honing and getting more experienced in this truth, and they're still getting more and more information. Why would you sit back and say, well, I'm done, I'm being complacent, I think what I know is enough, you know, I'm gonna just throw out whatever? Nah, if you're not learning more things, you're not gonna want to teach more things. When you learn more things, you want to bring it out. You want to edify. You want others to hear the gospel. You know, that's the passionate spirit you want to be in. So you don't want to be forced to do it. Then I just got to do this one video so that, you know, brothers don't do rebuke videos on me or what. No, you got to be wanting to do it. You know, you wake up like, yo, let me go into this today. You know, let me put this, let me tie this up with this, link it up with this, get that precept. And if the spirit is flowing with you, the precepts will start coming into your mind. You know, all of a sudden, oh, this precept, oh, this goes with that. Oh, this goes with that. And then you got a whole lesson right there. All right. But you got to do it passionately, man. You know, if I'm sending you like, oh, bro, you can get me. Oh, yeah, I got you. No worries. How you want it? This, that. I'm be like, oh, hell yeah. You know, like, yo, you know, if like, let's say you order food and the deliverer, you know, he's extra nice, you know, careful with it. You're going to want to give him a tip. But if he just bring, yeah, whatever. That's how the Most High looks at you who do the work as if you're forced to do it. He's looking at you like, yo, bro, first off, you don't have to be here, number one. And number two, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. Because if you do what you got to do, you gonna get delivered. You know, people act as though the Most High needs us. You know, like I did that video on what's it, Vanessa Bryant talking about she hasn't forgiven God yet. Who the fuck are you? Thank you. That's the number one. Who the hell are you? You haven't forgiven God, and when you go into that, when did the Most High ever come and say I need somebody's forgiveness? Who the hell? You know what I'm saying? So when you act as though, you know, like you some high, like the Most High got to come to you and tell you to do this, that, and the third. Who the hell are you? You got to do this for your salvation. And then when you get the second chance to do what's right so you don't get destroyed, you going to act as though somebody's forcing you to do it. That's it.
Yeah, we're going to get a precept on that. Because a lot of people are they got this preconceived misconception, all right, of the Most High. Because the churches don't teach you the judgments of the Most High, man. They teach you about the false narrative of God is all love. Where's the balance? Proverbs 11:1 tells you a false balance is an abomination unto the Most High, and a just weight is his delight. So if you're not balanced, all right, with the righteousness and wickedness, then you're not pleasing the Most High, man. You're off. That's what Esau always does, man. Esau don't know nothing about balance. All he knows is wickedness, man, because he was created to do wickedness, man. Right. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. All right. So, you know, we be amongst each other, and we always continue to, like the brother getting ready to throw a precept down. That's him learning. Okay. And when we after camp, we might have a council, and we tell each other about our life, and it might be a brother who kicks up some good info or some good advice that you can walk with, you know. But we always going to learn when we all in our own private times. We seek out knowledge to bring forth to the table for the next session or the next camp session, you know. So it's increasing, man. We always we build our vocabulary, we build our memory bank full of things that's necessary to bring out to edify the elect.
Right. From glory to glory, as the scripture says.
Right. This is verse 22 of Proverbs chapter 1. How long, ye simple ones will ye love simplicity.
Right. So simplicity meaning what? You're being naive. Okay, you're being ignorant to the facts and the things that you're supposed to really care about in this world. All right, a lot of people don't care about the judgments of the Lord. When you bring it up, they find different ways to try to deter you from bringing out that judgment. Number one is because either they fear, all right, they're afraid of that being a reality, and number two, what? They don't believe it. Okay, so for them, it's like, all right, if I believe it, I'm afraid. So I'd much rather say, no, I don't believe it, just so I could deter you, because they think we're normal men, we're regular people that's come around and just say things. Nah, if you do that to your church, your pastor, guess what? He's gonna get tight. Your church, your pastor's not gonna tell sodomites, all right, not to be sodomites no more. According to the scriptures, there's a judgment for that. They're not gonna tell you that. You know why? Because the sodomites' money matters to the pastor. Right? So he's not gonna tell you the judgments of the Lord like that. You're gonna lose the money. You see? So you thinking, oh well, God loves. I just come in, I'll be a sodomite. Nah, bro, you forgetting about the judgments. What happens then when the Most High jacks you up for being a sodomite? Like, really think about that. The Lord said, this is the law. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. America says,
what is the love? What is love? What is the love of God? The scriptures say keeping his commandments. So but what are his commandments? Don't be a sodomite. There shall be no sodomites amongst the sons of Israel. So how do you turn around and say I love God, but I'm gonna be a sodomite? You know, that's an oxymoron, because you don't really love the Most High. And the scriptures say, oh, they that hate me love death. So really, you love death. That's exactly what it is. And people get mad at us because we speak the truth. All right. But what you getting mad at us for? I ain't say I got a big ass rock and I'm about to smack you in the head with it. I ain't gonna do that. You know, I'm gonna tell you you're going off. You know, and even when we speak on it, we're not like gonna go grab up some sodomite and, you know, oh, you this, oh, you that, and the third. That's not using wisdom. You know, okay, fine. I believe that what you're doing is wrong, but I know that in this society, you know, everything is against somebody who would have my belief. So why would I go out there in public and then go target some specific sodomite? So they can come and charge me with a hate crime? No, that's not using wisdom. But I will declare it, you know, that the Lord said he's against that. You know, you're going to go to the churches, oh, I love God. God is love. People always want. What about what the Lord wants? That's the big old question. God is this. You see, here's one thing, you know, in one of my classes, they were talking about the problem of evil, right? And they were saying that it's basically a dilemma, because they're saying the problem of evil is that there's evil in the world, and it has to be one of two things. Either God is not all powerful, he's not omnipotent, or he's not all good. Because if he was all good, then there shouldn't be evil. He shouldn't allow it. All right. But if he was all powerful, then that means he should be able to stop the evil. But if there's evil, that means he can't stop it. That's theirs. And then I asked the question, I said, hold on one sec. Who the hell said God is all good? You know, that's cuts that whole problem right there. You know, I got you real quick. And then they'll say, well, you want to worship, you know, naturally, you want to worship a God that's good. Who the hell? You people have lost your goddamn minds, man. You know, you want, because of what you want. That how, isn't it supposed to be the other way around? You know, you worship me according to what I tell you to do. You're gonna talk about is good because God loves it, all right? Or is it good because something like that? I forgot the rest. You know, that stupid ass little philosophy bullshit, man.
it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
See, people think righteousness and good are in the same thing. They misinterpret it. You got to be righteous. Lord ain't asking for good deeds. He wants righteous deeds. Because a sodomite could go and feed somebody that's starving. And he said, oh my gosh, he's such a good person. No, if he ain't righteous, the Most High is going to destroy him. The scripture didn't say all our goodness have come short. It says all our righteousness are as filthy rags. You got to be righteous because the Most High is righteous. Okay? So you can put somebody to death and it'll be righteous. But in this society, they'll say that's not good, that's bad, that's evil. But the scripture just said the law creates evil. So what the hell is your problem?
That's hypocritical, though, if I may say, because they say if you put someone to death, it's bad, but they have righteous kills in this system too. And like if you stand your ground, there's been cases where homeowners shot a Girl Scout, and he alleged that he thought it was an intruder or some shit, shot through the peephole or through the door type shit, and that person wasn't charged. I don't know if he was charged, but in other cases, you got a lot of people who get off scot-free for catching a body because it was on their property. So, you know, they ask backwards. They tell you can't do it, and it's not such thing as a righteous kill. But police slay these damn so-called criminals all the time and get off with workers' comp. Like, you know, so but we believe that the righteous kill is lawful. You know what I'm saying? But they'll make it seem like you killed the person because he was a sodomite. That's unlawful. That's not a righteous kill, but it is.
They would have said Samuel was a serial killer for what he did to Agag.
Right.
You know, yeah, he's a domestic terrorist. He was terrorizing the nation of Amalek. You know, Saul was a domestic terrorist. He was a terrorist. David, yeah, they were terrorists. They try to eliminate, you know, all the Edomites. So they should have been like Osama bin Laden, then, right?
About the Most High.
Yeah.
When you go back and you read the scriptures, there's many countless times where the Lord gave commandments to the nation of Israel. He said, all the nations round about, you know, he gave, I believe it was 7 nations, the Hivites, the Amorites, so on and so forth. He said, slay them all, man. Slay them all.
Man, and woman, and child.
All of them.
Isn't that terroristic?
That's straight terrorism. So that's why they're going to demonize the scriptures, man. Because remember, they keep calling it hate speech. Hate speech. The scriptures, it condemns the wicked. So if you come out and say, oh, the Bible is speaking hate speech, you're basically calling yourself the wicked, because I don't got a problem with it. If I'm doing the right thing and the scriptures condemn the wicked, then it's not condemning me. I ain't got a problem with it. But the moment you say, oh, that's hate speech, that means that you identify yourself as the wicked. That's what Esau's doing. You see, to call righteous men who bring out things from the scriptures, call them wicked, call them terrorists, call them a hate group, and so on and so forth, that shows you who you are.
By thy word shalt thou be justified, and by thy word shalt thou be condemned.
Yeah, that's Esau right there, man.
And they did it to the apostles, though.
Yeah.
In the past.
Yep, same thing. And it's the same thing coming back, same spirits coming back, doing the same thing. But this time around, we get the victory. This time around, the storybook ends, and you ain't coming back on some they shall build back the desolate places.
Yeah,
No more. Yeah, no more Malachi for you, man. It's over. You know what I'm saying? But let's finish off with Proverbs real quick. Hold on, real quick. Bring up 3 separate.
This is Psalms 145 and 17. The Lord is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works.
So everything, including the judgment that's coming down here to Babylon the Great, the destruction of America is righteous. Because America is the reason why we're in this predicament right now, man. Remember, evil really sprung forth onto the earth, starting with the Greeks. The moment Esau got into power, evil
it was multiplied on the earth. Look at Maccabees.
All right, the book of Maccabees tells you that. All right, so it starts with the Greeks, on down to the Romans, and down here to America. Same people doing the same wickedness. This time, it's been increased exponentially, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been increased exponentially. Take over. I'll be right back.
All right. I got you right here. This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 9. It says, really, I start at verse 7. It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And we know Alexander was a Greek, all right, an Edomite. And his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So in their respective areas, they crowned themselves as king. Ptolemy, Seleucids, all of them. Right? So it says, so did their sons after them, because it was a dynasty, many years. And what? And evils were multiplied in the earth. Okay? So evils were multiplied in the earth when they started ruling. So, you know what I'm saying?
This is Proverbs 29 and 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases.
Oh, man.
But the righteous shall see their fall.
See that? So we're going to see their fall. We're going to see the fall. Revelation, the 18th chapter. We're going to see the fall of this place. And what do you see going on? Transgression. I mean, wickedness is at an all-time high on the whole planet. Why? Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So you can't turn. But the scriptures say that they're going to call good evil and evil good. So if the wicked is calling something wicked, you should really think twice on that.
Proverbs 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
Fools hate knowledge. And what we're given now is all knowledge. It's truth and it's knowledge. But fools will hate it. Why? Because it doesn't make sense in their mind. Remember, the Lord is not dealing with fools, man. He's dealing with the wise.
That's right.
Okay, so if you don't get it, just count yourself as lost, man. You're done. You're through. Finished. Remember, the Lord is going to deal. He's dealing with a very few number. A very, very few number, man. There's what, 7 billion plus people on the earth? And just a few people the Lord is gonna save at the end of the day. When you read the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter, it's a very few number. Yeah, they're an innumerable multitude, because look, You could look at back in the times, like a year ago, 2 years ago, for example, WrestleMania, and then they'll say, oh, it's like 86,000 people. You could literally watch, man, there's a lot of people here, but you can't say, unless they gave you the number 86,000 people, you wouldn't be able to say, oh, this I'll give an estimate of 86,000.
You can't number it.
You can't number. That's an innumerable multitude. Yeah, there's in the thousands. We don't know exactly how many people are going to be saved, but the Lord knows for a fact. He gave us a number, 144,000. 12,000 from each tribe. That's the men of the kings who are going to be ruling the kingdom to come. But then there's also innumerable multitude in the ninth verse that talks about that too.
Right.
Okay, we don't know how many it's going to be, whether it's millions or thousands. We don't know. But regardless, exactly, it's still going to be few in number compared to those who are going to be destroyed. All right, but go ahead with that.
Hey, but like you said, the Most High isn't, dealing with fools, proud fools.
Right.
Because you could be a righteous fool, all right, and I'm gonna explain that, and then you could be a dumbass, ignorant fool. Because Paul said, well, we had to become fools to become wise. Now there's nothing wrong with being a fool, but you got no excuse to stay a fool. That's the problem. I could be a fool today, but tomorrow I might not be a fool. Because what? I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna stop being ignorant so that I can learn. But if you come back tomorrow, I'm still the same dumbass. A week from now, I'm still the same dumbass. Then you staying a fool. That's the problem. All right? Because to be a fool means you're ignorant. You're without knowledge.
That's why in the beginning I used the word willful. There's something called willful ignorance. When you go into the word willful, it means what? Usually in a bad sense, somebody who's strong-willed, somebody who's obstinate, somebody who's unreasonable. Okay, somebody who does something wrong, all right, done with a purpose. All right, so you're willfully ignorant. You force yourself to be ignorant from the truth, the righteousness, because it cuts you, and you're not willing to get off the wicked ways that you're living in now. It causes you, or calls you to what? To be responsible for your actions. So you much rather not deal with that.
That's why they killed the Lord.
That's why they killed the Most High, because
Yahushua.
Yahushua. That's why they killed Yahushua, because what? Because he was telling them the wrong that they were doing, and requiring them to turn their ways and be right. You see, when you call somebody out, when a liar is lying and there's somebody who comes around tells the truth, they hate that person who's telling the truth. They get heated. You see? And that's why Esau don't like us, because Esau is a liar naturally. So when you got people coming in telling the truth, they don't like that shit, man. They don't like it. But go ahead. We're going to get into judgment soon, but go ahead.
The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all quit the wicked.
All right? Not at all quit the wicked. So it's not just Esau, but 2/3 of our people too. Okay, especially the 2/3 of our people, because y'all niggas been wicked since day one, man. The Lord told Ezekiel, I'm gonna make your forehead hard against their forehead. So he already know. He told us, look, these people, they're sottish people. He told that to Jeremiah. All right, he told Moses the whole time. He's like, look, I understand. They're stiff-necked people. Israel is just stiff-necked, man. But that's why you're gonna receive that judgment very soon, man. So you could cleanse your ways. Because no matter what happens, the Lord said, why should I strike you any longer? I'm putting you in captivity after captivity. I killed you people. I plagued you. I gave you destruction. I gave you curses. I put you through all this shit just so you can get right, and you still don't want to get right. What am I going to do now? That's why you're going to have to get cleansed with the purging of the fire, man. You have to go through that. A lot of people got to go through that, man, because your head ain't right. Your head ain't right, man.
Yeah, because you know what? I got you real quick. I got something to back up exactly what you said. Because the Most High sends these judgments. All right, let me get it real quick. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 19, as the brother just said, it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges.
Exactly. So yeah, all the torments that's coming, they're still not paying attention. That's why a lot of people, like we said earlier, they came around when they seen the things, things is not looking too good right now. There's a lockdown there. You guys did say this was gonna happen. It's happening. Shit, what we gonna do? And then they see things. Things is opening back up. Damn, what happened to all that stuff you guys were saying? Well, you said this was gonna be the end, right? You said we're not gonna get back to normal, right? You said all this is done, but we going back to normal though. So that means what you were saying is not true. All right, you know what? I'm gonna fall back. I'll be back later. Let me just get back in the world for a little bit. But that's where you messed up, because that's the trap.
Right?
You see, that's the trap, man. The Lord is doing it because he's seen, look, the ark door is about to close. And a lot of people start coming towards the ark. He said, look, hold on. It's only for a select few. Stop the drizzling. That's it. So a lot of people come into the door knocking, things are happening. Get us in the ark. The Lord said, hold on. The elect already they're on the ark. Everybody got to take a seat. Relax. Hold on, bro. Let me see if I got space for you. Hold on. And then the hell that was coming, the reason why you came to the truth in the first place, it starts to die down a little bit. So now they saying that we could yo,
Man, stop
there's no
dribbling.
space. Yeah, there's no space. There's no. All right, hold on. It's fine. We got something going on here. We'll be back. We'll be back. Just
Yeah, I
make some
just
space.
remembered. I just remembered.
I just-
my wife.
There you go. Make some space. We'll be back. And then when you turn around, the door slams shut. The Lord said, "Yo, turn up." Now where you gonna go? You come in here. We're not gonna pay attention to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what's coming. You know, this peace and safety is gonna be a downfall to a lot of people. It's a trap. And if you don't pay attention, you're gonna get caught up in it, man. We gotta read the judgments. A lot of people are gonna get into this judgment too. All right. Go ahead.
Continuing on with verse 23. Oh, by the way, that precept that I pulled when I said the Lord is slow to anger is Nahum chapter 1, verse 3,
Yeah, come on.
to be short, to be exact. But this is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit onto you. I will make known my words unto you.
Right. And how's the Lord doing that? Through his men. Whether you want to accept it or not, we are the men of the Lord. Okay, look, during the time of Egypt and the time we got into the wilderness, you see how the children of Israel disobeyed Moses, Aaron, and the elders that were with us in the wilderness. That was exactly the same thing that they're doing to today. You don't see them stressing out the IUIC camp. They're always stressing out the elders because we are the men of the Lord, man. Starting from our elders, apostles of Great Millstone on down, we're going through the same thing that Israel was doing back then during the time of Egypt. Same thing, man. The stupid ass questions that make no sense. The controversy. Like, bro, we're giving you the truth. Nah, bro, you say something about harlots. What about this? You said something about marriages. Like, what is all this controversy, bro? We're telling you the truth. If you don't believe it, that's okay. It's not for everyone. But the fact that it's like, I don't believe what you're saying, so you should stop teaching it. That's BS. That's crazy.
They don't want to be alone.
They don't want to be alone.
in their
Exactly.
belief.
You know, just because I don't understand what you're saying, I disagree with it, so you should stop saying it. Nigga, fuck you. Who the hell are you? You know, you don't gotta accept it. Romans 3:3 tells you that. For what if something I believe? Does that make the faith of the Most High without effect? Most High forbid. You see? So the judgments are going to still come out regardless however you feel about it. You know? Go back into the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. They didn't think they was going to get destroyed. And it happened in an instance, man. Just like that. The same thing's going to happen here. Nobody think America's going to go down. Even with all the shit that's happened, the Lord has showed you that he's visiting the earth, which he made, which you're going to get that in 2nd Ezra. Okay? A lot of people still don't regard it as the Most High making moves, man. You don't look at it like that. You just think of it as this thing is something that's gonna pass. You're bugging, bro. You crazy. You know,
You get offended if you get offended. If you get offended on what we got to say, man, we not holding you hostage, making you stand here and listen. You could keep it moving. You know, you causing up a whole uproar over nothing. I think it's to get some 5 minutes of fame on the camera's sake, but yo, man, you could keep it moving with that.
Yeah, like I said, I know where your family lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at your daughter right now. You don't believe what we say. Something just might happen, you know? Jake feel like, bro, that's not, like the brother said, man, ain't nobody holding you hostage, bro. Yeah, but you know what? We're not gonna give you the time of the day. That's what they want. They know if they can't get the good fame, they want the infamous, the infame. You know, they want to be put in the spotlight, whether it's positive or negative. So if they can try to start a controversy on an apostles' comment board or with an elder brother who's known, and then he does a video on them, all of a sudden we gonna go to his channel to see, who is this guy over here, and then he gets clout. We ain't gonna give you that. Yeah,
that's a curse, man. Because that's a man of the Lord, all right, putting you on blast. That's the Most High through that man putting you on blast. So that's not a good thing, man. Don't look at it as a they did a video on me. If somebody did a video on me, I'll be shook. I'll be like, damn, what the fuck? Like, I'll be trying to get right. Damn, I'm slack your father. I'll be praying to Most High, forgive me. And I'll try to get right. I'll do whatever. I'll contact whatever brother it is that offended. Yo, brother, hey, I might have misspoke or whatever. Maybe it was misunderstood. Let's get right. But you got niggas. Of course, niggas gonna do what niggas do. They try to tie in the worldly shit to this truth. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's like mixing oil and water. It doesn't work. It don't mix, man.
Because they think that here's the thing. Some people lack spiritual maturity and they lack understanding. You got to know what to take, what information that benefits you to take from the video. Here it is, a brother does a video on, he does a video, these women are out of order. These women are out of order. So you go home, your wife is in order, but you go home trying to find a way to justify why she's out of order. You know what I'm saying? She brings you dinner, you slap her. Nah, this shit tastes too good. We in Babylon. I'm supposed to be catching hell. It's not supposed to take this. Go give me some whack ass shit. You know? Why are you wearing the left shoe before the right? You see, this is why our women are out of order. You see? And then you just try to find something because you feel as though just because a brother said women are out of order, the shoe don't fit, but you're trying to force it on. You a size 11, but you're trying to wear a size 6. You know, nah, it gotta fit because the brother said it. Bro, if you don't want to deal with it or if it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. You keep it pushing. But it might apply to somebody else. That's why the video is being done.
Yeah. Another precept. It was going into what I was talking about. It's Ezekiel 12 and 21. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth?
Right. So that's exactly what a lot of people are doing now. Oh, you talking about America's gonna get destroyed? You talking about nuclear missiles? You talking about this? You FEMA camps? This vaccine? This and that and third. Well, what happened? I mean, the vision. I mean, it looks like things ain't happening, right? You reading on that? Yeah.
Ezekiel 12 and 22. Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth? Tell them, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I will make this proverb to cease.
So that's the Lord. He's going to say that with different prophets, man. Habakkuk says the same thing. He said, though it tarry, wait for it. It doesn't mean just because it's tarrying, it's not going to happen. No. It just means that it's going to happen at a point in time that you're not ready for. All right? Because you might be anticipating, you know, oh, man, you know, you probably place an order. You know, you made all your plans. By the time this thing is supposed to come in next week, you made all your plans for that thing to come in next week. It ain't come in next week. Does that mean that it's never going to come in? No. It's going to come in. It's just not the time you're expecting it to come in, man. Doesn't mean just lose all hope. Oh, I'm going to call them and cancel it, man. Yo, my plans are ruined. No. It's like, you know what? I'm going to have to reschedule this, whatever it might be. That's it.
Well, you gotta plan with wisdom.
Yeah.
Here it is. I gotta go to Miami. I'll be back. I'll take my wife to Fiji. Then we come back, and I'm planning for Friday at 5:45. How should I supposed to be here? So we could be on a chariot by then. And here it is. It's 5:40, but the chariots are not here. So I don't believe in the truth anymore. What are you doing, bro? Now I got the definition of the word faileth. Every vision faileth. It says abad. It says here to vanish, to go astray. So we tell them this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. But we make sure we don't tell you that it's gonna happen today because we don't know it's gonna happen today. But we tell you we hope it can happen today or that it's gonna happen soon. But because they don't see it happen today, they think it failed. You know, the vision it's not gonna come to pass. It failed. Right? It says
It's simple. Believe it
every word. That's it. It says to perish, all right, to give up as lost, right? So the vision is not gonna happen anymore. You know? No, it just means that this wasn't time for it to happen just yet.
Continue with that.
I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel.
There you go. So how's the Lord going to make the prophecy, the proverbs cease? He's going to actually make it happen.
That's right.
You might be sitting there thinking, well, damn, they said Jacob's trouble. But I thought it wasn't really. Boom. Then you're already in Jacob's trouble. But they said, damn, the RFID chip is not the move. Mark of the beast. Boom, right there. Now you're faced with the thing, like the one thing you kept saying, nah, I don't see it happen in our lifetime. You really think it's going to happen while we're still here? Bro, I don't really see that, man. I don't think that's. Well, whatever you think, it's okay, bro. The prophecy say it's going to happen. That's the end of it. We're just giving you warning. That's it. All right?
Back you up. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. And they do so because they say the vision is prolonged. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of men is fully set in them to do evil or wickedness. It says, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
Yep, and that's what we're doing. All right. Sometimes even when you sleep, you know, sometimes your spirit makes intercession to the Lord, and sometimes people will hear it. It becomes, you know, it comes out verbally. That's your spirit groaning to the Lord. You know, sometimes you be sleeping. You know, sometimes my brother does it, and he tells me, yo, you do the same thing. You be sleeping, you be speaking. You know, you be like, you trying to get the words out. Sometimes you be twitching. It's like you fighting something. You know, that's your spirit speaking to the Lord, man. You know, so sometimes we might not even know what's going on. Your spirit feels things and it communicates to the Lord, man, because you know He's the only one you can go to. You know, He's the only one you can go to, man.
You get that? And then all right. This is like the brother said, this is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 26. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
So there are certain words that we might not even be able to use, all right, to speak to the Lord, but our spirit is going to do it for us, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord who puts the Spirit on us to feel that way. So He understands. That's why Yahweh said, look, the Lord already knows what you need and what you want. You know what I'm saying? You praying is just to show Him that, yo, you actually believe in Him. That's why you're coming to Him. But He already knows about you, man. He already knows what you're into. All right? But let's get 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter real quick. All right? Because that's really what's coming down to this place. All right? We are in the time of prophecy. All right? So we have to give you the warning. We have to say it so you understand when the time comes, you have no excuse. You can't say, well, I didn't know. Oh, well, but you guys didn't really say this. No. We're covering all the bases, man. Because we're not really coming here to please you. We're pleasing the Most High. He says, yo, give them warning from me. We're going to we laying everything out. All right? We don't care how you feel about it. We're just laying it out on you, man. That's it. All right? Get that real quick. Off the top, yeah.
2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
And how do we do that? You know, we always constantly checking our phones. You know, oh, they said they signed this. Oh, you heard what's happening over here? We put in the group chat. Oh, brother said this. That's part of measuring the times diligently, man. And in itself, yeah, the articles. You know, checking out your earthquake, this, yo. You know, because Yahweh laid down the prophecies for us. He said, look, you don't know the time or the day that I'm coming back. I don't even know. But before I come back, my Father's going to show you signs. He's going to show that to His elect. And only His elect are going to see those signs. All right? And they will know, oh, our Lord and Savior is coming back soon. We're in prison, but He said, when you see these things happening, get ready. Those chains are about to be blown off the hinges, man. You about to get set free. All right? So we're looking at those signs, and that's what keeps us excited. You know? Go ahead.
Can you break down the word diligently a little further?
Oh, yeah.
Give me one. Diligently, I got a precept, actually. I actually get the word. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 1. It says, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. Now that reed and that rod is going into the scriptures, all right, which we're using, all right, and going into the measuring the temple of God being the nation of Israel, all right, and the priests as well. Okay, how are we measuring them? By teaching them. Okay, but we're also using the scriptures as a measuring stick to measure the time diligently. So how do you measure the times diligently? First, you need to start by knowing what the scriptures say, knowing what you're supposed to look for, and then you look in the world and you see the prophecies that are happening and you see the end goal. So what you're doing is each time you see something happen, for example, what do we start with? We start with this whole situation, this pandemic situation, right? And we're seeing that from this pandemic situation, they're coming out with a digital ID. And then slowly but surely, they're shifting closer and closer to what? The mark of the beast. So what we're doing is we're using the scriptures as like a measuring read to see how close are we to the mark of the beast. You look at an article, you see how they're progressing with the technology, you refer back to the scriptures. You say, okay, well, this technology is going to be something that you're going to use to buy and sell, something that's going to be put into your hand. So now you know what to look for. So when you see these articles come out, oh, they've come out with a digital passport which you have to scan. They've come out with a new way you get tweeted. They're using this to buy and sell. So now you're looking at the scriptures, you're looking at current events, you're seeing, okay, how close is the most modern technology to the mark of the beast that the scriptures say? And each time the new article comes out, you're looking at it, you're going back to the scriptures, you're looking back at it, you're going back to the scriptures, and then you're giving the word. Hey, look, we're about to be at that point where they make this thing mandatory, right? You're looking at the, and I'll pass it real quick, but you're looking at the Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, poel, he fashions the whole world mentally and through the infrastructure to be ready for the chip. So then you look at articles like how they're coming out with the new normal, how you got to do this, how you got to show this to be a part of society. And you look at what the scriptures say would happen, and you see that what? We're getting closer and closer and closer. So you measure by knowing what you're looking for. That is your measuring stick, the scriptures. All right. And then you look at the current events and you see, okay, how close are we? Because eventually your measuring stick is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, because the closer we get to prophecy, that's just how it's going to go.
Right.
So diligently just means, well, as the brother's
Yeah,
going to go into,
I get the definition. The diligent means constant in effort to accomplish with an undertaking. Other words would be something like attentive, being assiduous, being careful, all right, being single-minded. Like, all right, like the brothers just explained. If you're diligently looking for something, your all your energy and effort is onto that thing. You're carefully looking at that thing. So the Lord is saying, pay attention to the prophecies. That's the only way you're not going to be taken off guard, because it also says that he's going to come as a thief in the night. If you're watching, how is he going to come as a thief in the night to you? That's what the apostle said. The apostle Paul said to us, he doesn't need to tell us the times of the seasons, because we're watching diligent. But to the rest of the world, it's going to come as a surprise, because to them, they think, like we said earlier, this whole thing that's happening, we know is part of the signs of the end. To the rest of the world, they don't see it as that. They look at it as, it's just something that's going to pass. We just got to come together, do the best we can to get over it. No, you're not getting over this. You see what I'm saying? But go ahead on that. You got it, though?
Be occupied in prophecy.
Be occupied in
So
prophecy.
if you're occupied, that means your time, your mind, you're constantly, you're in it, so you're paying attention. You know, so you're diligent, meaning you're not letting a single thing go. You're watching everything via the news sites, the articles, and then you're linking it with the scriptures. You're measuring the time. Literally, you're measuring how much time do we have until Yahushua comes back by how close these events are to the prophecies. So holding day by day. That's it.
Hey, and part of it too is a lot of people mistake prophecy, all right, because they don't really pay attention. Why? A lot of prophecies are happening that might not necessarily happen here. For example, earthquakes. When was the last earthquake you heard in America? Right. But earthquakes are happening around the world. I believe last week there was like a magnitude 7.2 earthquake or something like that. You know,
which caused like a tsunami.
Yeah. There's like earthquakes happening around the world. That's why Yahushua said, earthquakes in diverse places.
Yep,
all around. In China, yeah. There's so many different places, but just because it might not happen here in Babylon, people might say, oh, well, I mean, earthquake. I mean, the Lord said earthquake, so earthquake ain't happened yet. No, it's happening around the world. You just don't see it. But if you're diligent, you will know that, yeah, we are in those times. You see what I'm saying? Because it's happening. It's happening just like Yahushua said was going to happen. Right? You see what I'm saying? So go ahead on that.
Start from the top. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before.
See, so how would you know when part of the signs pass? You got to know the signs, and you got to be looking for the signs in the world, right? Because what's written in prophecy is going to take place in the world. So you got to be looking for those things, you know?
Right. And how the Lord tell us in past times through the prophets of old. You know, those prophets who came before Ezra, like Moses, all right, those prophets who came after Ezra, you know, like John the Revelator, you know, Daniel, and so on and so forth. But guess what? They all said the same thing.
Yep.
You know, they all said the same thing because it was the same message that the Lord gave those prophets, the messengers, to give to the world.
Right.
You see?
This is Amos chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing but reveal his secrets unto his servants, the prophets.
Right. So the Lord reveals his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. Not to everybody else, but to his servants, the prophets. That's why a lot of people could read the Bible but not understand the Bible, because the understanding is a key, is a lock, is a code. And the Lord shows you how to unlock the code. First, he tells you in Hebrews, the 5th chapter, the 12th verse. And he also tells you in Isaiah, the 28th chapter, 9th and 10th verses. All right? That you need to be taught again. And once you're taught, how do you understand the whole thing? How do you put the whole puzzle together? You got to do precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little.
Because it's like a puzzle.
It's a puzzle.
You got to get a piece here and there to fix it. See, that's what they won't teach you in the churches. That's why people don't understand. You can read the Bible as a storybook, but there's also, in terms of prophecy, there's a reason you might read something Isaiah said in Revelation, because the Lord gave that same vision to John, but he might have expounded on it a little bit more with John. Right. So if you want to understand what Isaiah is saying, you got to read what's written here in John. But if you don't know where it's at, how would you know? Right.
What chapter?
What?
What chapter? Here a little bit.
Isaiah 28, 9 and 10.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chapter repeats that message again, and like, isn't it saying? I don't know, so I'm just asking. But doesn't it say something? When it repeats itself, is it saying that here a little, there a little, line upon line, precept upon precept? Isn't it saying that to some people that would be a stumbling block?
What do you mean?
Like if it says the same thing again, like a few verses down, but it says that they may be taken back or.
Let's go to find out. Yeah.
Pretty much those secrets are blocked to it's right here in the Bible, but it's those learned men, it's the servants of the Most High, the prophets who have the discernment to break it down. It's like unlocked for us,
Right.
you know, because you could read the same thing and get the wrong interpretation of it.
Right.
You know, that's what the breakdowns is so important to know the breakdown and not have your own interpretation of what you just read.
But they won't expect us to know it because we don't look like a typical pastor, right? So what do these guys possibly know about the Bible? But people don't stop to actually listen. See, it's all the society teaches people to be prejudiced, even indirectly. They might see you and say, well, he has a Bible in his hand, but he probably doesn't know anything about that. They won't stop to actually listen. That's why Revelation 3:20 says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man will open unto me, I will come in and sup with him. You got to listen. And then you'll find out, wait, hold on. I didn't even know that. How do you know them precepts? How does he know that in this shot? How they calling that? Because we study, man. You know, we don't come out here in the code just to come and tell you BS. But we can do that from the comfort of our house. You know?
This is Isaiah 28:9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
See, the Lord has to make you to understand it. You can't just say, I just want to pick it up and know it. The Lord has to open up your mind to understand it.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Right. That's talking about spiritually, man. Spiritual maturation. All right. Because you're not going to give a newborn baby meat. You know, you got to give them milk. You know, they can grow their bones, their teeth, and so on and so forth. That's spiritually for what? When you first understand the scriptures, when you first get into the truth, or that the truth is made known unto you, it's a lot. You can't just start eating the deep, dark breakdowns. No, you got to start with the basics, you know, so the understanding of the Most High. Who is the Lord? What is the name? What is his son's name? You know, these are basic. Who are the Israelites? Who are the Edomites? Who are this? Who are that? What are the judgments of the Lord? What is the true nature of the Most High? That the churches will tell you that he's all love. But then when you read the scriptures, he tells you about the judgments.
And he told the Israelites to slay all the Canaanites.
Right. Right.
Why didn't he show love to them?
What
the
about
Egyptians that got
Right.
swallowed by the river, the ocean, the
Right.
Red Sea?
Red Sea.
Why didn't they get shown love?
What about that?
So that's going into teaching, right? When you're learning. So it's saying the milk, right? And that means if you're coming into this truth, that's why you have to receive it precept upon precept, because you can't digest the whole roll.
Yes. And that's how you understand the scriptures. Because like you said, it's a puzzle. So for example, you might read something in Genesis.
Yep.
It talks about a day to the Lord. Like a day, they spent 6 days, and the 7th day he rested. But when you go into first or second Peter? Second Peter 3:8. 3:8, where it talks about a day to the Lord is 1,000 years for us. When you put those two together, you'd be like, oh, so in book of Genesis, it says 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, all the way 6 days. It's not really 6 days.
It's not 24 hours.
It's not 24 hours. It's actually 1,000 years for us. So 1 day to the Lord in the scripture in Genesis says a day, but to us it was actually 1,000 years. See, that's something people wouldn't even think of that. They'll think, oh yeah, 6 days and the 7th day he rested. No, it's 6,000th year. And the 7,000th year they rested.
And that's why that's precept upon precept, because you go to a precept in Genesis for the word day. And then you go to another precept in 2 Peter 3:8. That's a precept. You put it upon another to understand how long a day is. So here a little from Genesis, and there a little from 2 Peter 3:8. That's how you understand the Bible. You got to get a bit from here, and it's going to explain what it's talking about here. Revelation 19:11 on down, Isaiah 63 is going to explain what it's talking about. The Lord came on a white horse. Is he actually coming on an actual white horse? Because in Isaiah 63 is the same event, but it's described differently. You see? So that's here a little and there a little. You put it together, you get the picture. You get this puzzle piece, you get that puzzle piece. You put it together, you get the whole picture. That's what it means.
If I may say, the scriptures even say, look at certain things in life and it'll teach you. Like a mother, when she's having the child doesn't just pop out after she done had sex with a man. It takes 9 months for that child to be created. It's just like with the 1,000 years with the Lord. The earth and everything wasn't created within one 24-hour period. It was created within 6,000 year periods, and then they rested on the 7th day. So even when you look at certain things in life, like that tree or these trees around, they didn't just sprout out the ground in one day. It took a period of time to grow.
Right? Because you know how complicated. See, people, you got to understand the intricacy in nature. A tree by itself, we don't even know how to create a tree, right? If the Lord was to break down the science behind how to make a tree or even a human being, that's something that it would take us a whole plus a lifetime to even understand. So you don't just do that in 24 hours. Yes, the Lord can do it, but it's a process. You know, you got to get these atoms. It tells you that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon that you get these elements and these elements, and based on how you combine these elements, you get this product as matter. Because you have certain certain products, certain matter, certain forms that consist of the same elements, but are two different things, right? Because of how the elements are put together. Because if you put H2O, you're gonna get water. If you put O3, you're gonna get ozone. You put O2, you're gonna get oxygen. You see, still oxygen, still the O element in all three, but different forms based on how it's composed together.
They all work in tandem with each other. They all work to create a balance, like man and woman. A woman's hormones is made more acidic, and a man's hormones is made more alkaline. A lot of people don't even know that. The Lord did that on purpose. So if you notice, a woman's pH, vaginal pH, I believe is around normally from 3 to 4, which is all acidic. And for us, we're normally base, which is 7 and up. So even when you have sex with a woman and you ejaculate in her, for a period of time, she gets that pH levels, they rise. But the Lord did it that way to keep certain healthy bacteria in her vagina. So that she's supposed to have that acidic pH level in her vagina. You see what I'm saying? So even that alone, that's why she needs a man to pump into her to create that balance. That's why sometimes with a woman, if you notice, if you were a woman for a while and she gets, sexually frustrated, she get annoyed, she get angry. When you give her that rod and you pipe into her, whatever it might be, she becomes calm because you gave her that balance. You see what I'm saying?
Cool her down.
You cool her down. You see, so you give her the alkaline to balance out that acid that's in her. You see what I'm saying? That's why they get all hormonal, they get crazy and imbalanced. We don't go through that. Most men don't get emotional and get all imbalanced and crazy. We don't do that because we're alkaline. We're at base level. You see what I'm saying? So even with that, the intricate levels of nature will teach you how great the Most High is.
Hey, even circumcision.
Yeah.
See, the Most High said circumcise on the 8th day. That wasn't just, oh, let me pick a number, roll a die, 8th day. No, it's scientific because when a baby is born, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the term is fibroids or so. That's element, I think, from the liver or so, but it's in your blood. Now, when you get like a puncture, your blood doesn't just gush out, right? It swells up and then it starts to come out because your blood, to an extent, it coagulates, but not to the point where it'll kill you. When a baby, before the 8th day, that element is not in their blood, it's not fully developed. So if you were to cut a baby, circumcise them before that day, they'll more than likely bleed out and die. On the 8th day is when it's highest in their blood, so it's safest to circumcise a baby on the 8th day to where they won't bleed out and die. But you just take it as, oh, God said 8th day, that's it. There's a science behind it that we don't even understand. So you see the intricacy of how the Most High deals?
Brother, about the same thing.
Right.
Like Genesis, when he says, and let there be light, that's the sun. But all he says, let there be light. To us, it's like, when you study what the sun is actually capable of, it gives life to every living being on this planet. So
But what's interesting though? There was light before the sun. Right? Because when you go into Genesis 1, the sun and the moon, I believe, was on the 4th day, right? But the light was in the beginning. There was light before the sun was created. That's a question that you could look up, and a lot of theologians will be like, oh, it's one of the mysteries of God. But when you look at it, before anything was created, they were all in elemental form. Because when something gets broken down, it gets broken down to its elemental form, its base form. And what the Lord did was he gathered these elements and put them together to form it. It's like progressing and regression, right? These elements all have some form of aura to them. They have an illumination. That's what he did. He caused, when he said, let there be light, he illuminated these elements, right? You take it, for example, fireflies, bioluminescence, right? That's light from itself, but that's because there's certain elements within that creature allowing it to be able to light up. Because you can get light, for example, that light right there, right? You can have light in there when the sun is not out. Because light is created from photons, right? How your eye perceives that the electrons. Because in every atom you have electrons, protons, neutrons. On the electron chain, the electron cycle, when it gets an immense amount of energy, the electrons jump to the furthest outer ring, and then they cool down and they come down. When they're returning, they release those photons. That's what we perceive as light. So that's why you need to plug the light into a wall, and then the current, the electricity comes through it, And then that is what causes the electron to jump to the outer ring and then return those photons. And then that thing lights up. And you see it and you say, hey, there's light. So you can get light without the sun. But the Lord created the sun as the greater light to rule the day. So this is going to be the ordinance. This is how you get light. Before sex was instituted, we came out from the waters, as it says. So in the beginning, there was a preset, right? A first way of doing things. And then the cycle was instituted. Okay, this is how you continue doing it. So you see something like that, it's not going to take just 24 hours to do. You look at the trees, for example. You take trees and plants, different. Certain plants don't grow as big as that tree. But even in the tree family, there's so many different variations of a tree. Some bear fruit, some don't. Some bear poisonous fruit. Some, so there's so many different variations of just a tree. And then look at all the different species that are in the earth. That's not just 24 hours. That's not just 1 week, that it's going to take to create all that.
Also proves it's created.
Thank
This part is too complex.
Right. Yeah. Your very existence shows that there is a creator.
Exactly.
Like just life itself shows that there's no way. There's no way. You can't convince it. You could pay me $1 billion to say we all came out because of a Big Bang theory. It's not possible. That's why at the end of the day, they still call it a theory. It's not proven.
That's because it's intelligent.
It's
how is the Big Bang theory intelligent?
It's
There's
not
nothing intelligent
possible.
about that.
The what they call the evolution theory. Once again, you cannot have an evolution from one species to another.
That's 1 Corinthians. Go there real quick. 15.
Yeah, 15 with the
Run
body.
maybe the 41st.
Yeah.
It's gonna tell you, yeah.
It tells you that everyone has different bodies. So you can't have a fish that turns into a lion. It doesn't work like that. A fish will evolve over time. Maybe over time they might start to
They'll probably swim fast.
they might swim
You know?
faster, or their color might change over time because of their conditions of the water, or whatever it might be. Those are things that the Lord will do to bring that balance so that fish can keep on with that species. You see what I'm saying? But to have a lion over time turns into a tiger, or a gorilla turns into a human being, it's impossible. It's
Right,
never
from
happened
a
before.
common ancestor.
Right? Human
Yeah, that
history
doesn't exist.
never says that we came from a gorilla and then over time we just started to walk on. It's never happened.
Science, because
It's not. It can't be proven.
science is based on something
Science
like
needs to know.
exactly. Right. That's why it's like a theory, because it's based on something that actually can't be proven. So I'm like, why do they even teach us this stuff in school?
That's all part of the deception. And Darwinism, exactly. It's all part of the deception for control. Because one thing that the elites bank on is people's ignorance of the truth. If you're ignorant of the truth, you can be manipulated any way, anyhow they want. The one thing they're afraid of is people who know the truth. Because if you know the truth, you're going to question the BS. For example, the IRS. I call it ignorance-related slavery, right? Because once you realize the laws, the specific terms that they use, when you really get into it, you can always fight them, and they hate that. You could send them an email and be like a letter and say, look, I'm a citizen or I'm a sovereign, right? They can't tax you, they can't do none of this stuff. There's a lot of intricate details that goes into that, but a lot of people don't know that.
Because
So
they try to scare you.
right, because apparently there's not apparently, but there's certain taxes that you will pay willingly as a citizen, as a sovereign citizen. You can do it willingly. But a lot of people don't pay attention to that willingly, so they think they're obligated to do so.
Or they don't know.
Right. So when the IRS hits you with that email or a message and they say, hey, you still haven't filed your taxes, what's going on with that? And you know your rights and you know that you're a sovereign, you don't have to do that. You can send them a message back and say, well, I'm a sovereign. This doesn't comply to me. This doesn't apply to me. They'll be like, oh, we're sorry. According to our records, you're right. That's what they'll tell you because they know the truth. But they're waiting to see if you know the truth. If you don't know, then they're going to get your money. That's it. It's all about knowing what's going on, man. That's it. Truth. It's
Set you free.
That's it.
You know how this is like a Mickey Mouse government because in certain states it's tax free. Florida, tax free state, man. I don't know all the other states, but I know Florida is one of them.
But how if we all got one constitution, right?
Right. How is it that it's fair that they don't have to pay taxes, but we do?
It's all a part of the scam and playing on your ignorance. And they try to shut down anybody that can bless you with knowledge, wake you up from your ignorance. So instead of, hey, listen to what I'm telling you, it makes sense, they'll say, hey, don't listen to him. He's crazy. Conspiracy theory. He's crazy. And what do? They don't demonize you. They demonize the term or the label. So all they gotta do is slap you with the label, and then that's it.
All they got
The job is done.
Especially now, the only thing they're doing now is put anti in front of anything. oh, you're anti-vax, you're anti-mask, you're anti-this. What that happens is people naturally do not want to be associated with something that's looked at in a negative light in society. So if you say, oh, you're anti-vax, right away, you're discredited for anything that you say. What about, wait, what happened to my body, my choice? What about the science behind wearing a mask on your face if you claim that there's a so-called pandemic out there? Why would you tell people to wear a mask? Wouldn't that be defeating the purpose? Wouldn't you tell people, yo, go outside, get some fresh air, exercise, drink clean water, get some sunlight? Exactly. Do these things. What happened to all that? All of a sudden, ever since COVID came on the scene, all these other diseases and sicknesses just died away. They went on vacation. Yo, COVID, you got it, bro. I'll be right back. flu is out the door. Everything is out the door. Everybody who dies now, COVID.
See.
Yeah. You see?
No, see. See for the camera.
Oh, see. Yeah. You know? Yeah, see, even that. So when you bring out the truth, they'll demonize you. You know, that's what we're going through. People look at us as like we're crazy, but then when they take time and listen to what we're saying, yeah, they'll be like, wait, tell me, these men ain't that crazy. They ain't crazy. They're saying the truth. You see? But people don't want to be associated with being looked at as different. That was it called persona non grata. Nobody want to be around somebody who's looked at as, oh, you're crazy, oh, you're the bum of the society. You're a conspiracy theorist.
So that's how they looked at the Lord.
That's how they looked at the
Lord. But don't say I'm a Christian.
Right.
There's a precept that says if we were in the days of our fathers,
right.
surely we wouldn't have partaken in the slaughter of the prophets. But they're doing the same thing now.
Yeah.
You know,
you call them hypocrites.
They'll say, well, of course I would have been with the Lord. But if the Lord was here now, you would not have been with him. Right. Because you care more about your societal image than you care about the truth.
Yeah. And the Lord, the truth doesn't discriminate. The truth is just what it is. It's not subjective, it's objective. You know, 1 + 1 is 2. That's objective. That's universal. Everybody knows that. You can back that up. You take two items, 1, it becomes 2. Now, if you say, well, I don't really like math like that. You see, so like 1 + 1, really, I want it to be 3. The fact that it's 2, I don't know how I feel about that. Does it change the fact? No, it doesn't change the fact. Your feelings about something, your thoughts about something, your opinion about the facts doesn't change it. You see what I'm saying? What is an opinion? An opinion is the medium between a fact and your thoughts. That's it. How you think about the fact is your opinion. Does it change the fact? No, it doesn't. You see, but a lot of people get uncomfortable when you tell them the truth that goes against their truth. They don't like that. Oh, you're challenging what I think, or you're making me uncomfortable, so that means you need to be shut down.
Hey, George Orwell's 1984. Remember when they were torturing him, and he said, how many fingers do I have up? He said, 4. But and then they kept torturing him because he's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, what do you want me to say? 3?
I see 4.
He says, you don't believe it's 3. You want to say 4.
Right.
Until the dude finally said, I don't know. That's when they stopped torturing him because they said, what we want you to do is even if you see 4, you don't know unless we tell you this is 4, you don't know what it is. Right. That's what they do. They break down whatever you know to be true, and then they turn you into a perfect slave for them. So you become the slave as well as the slave master. So you're holding yourself, hey, like I was saying, you got people that say, I'm never wearing a mask. Right. But then at the end of the pandemic, they say, I'm never taking this mask off. They get upset that there's now they're alleviating the mask ban because they've conditioned you to where now they don't have to do any work. You're going to do it for them. You know, if they can get a big enough amount of people, I was saying this in the video before, what they do is they throw out this nonsense and they fund scientists and these experts and they come out and they try to make some BS, put it together, feed it to the people. So when you come out and tell the truth, you're not even going to go up against the person who came up with the lie. You're going to go up against all the people who believe his lie. And he's just sitting back. Like, you can't even touch me. Because they have the minds of these people.
This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not.
Right. And that's the bloody city. The bloody city is talking about America, man. Because America was founded on what? The blood, all right, the backs and the tears of a certain people. We know what that's all about. That's right. Okay. And that's not even, you can't even debate that. It's a matter of historical context. That's it. Right. You go back into history, it tells you what the so-called white man has done to us or to people and really to the whole world. Okay, he's been a terror to the whole world, man. That's why the scriptures call him the wicked. Okay, the scriptures call him the wicked. And yeah, he could deny it all he wants, but his track record is indicative of who he is. You see what I'm saying? But one thing I was going to say, too, about this whole mask thing, remember, it's a ritual. All right. They understand that there is no virus out there. They know that. They came up with the concept of it. It's just to create fear in people's minds so they can conform to the ideologies that they're bringing out, which is what the so-called global reset or the New World Order. Now, people are starting to realize or wake up to the fact that this whole thing is all BS. Okay, if you take that mask off and you walk around, people look the same. But if you do that, then you're going to have this personal relation with people. For example, I could see Bob from the store and I'd be, hey, Bob, how you doing? I see his face, he smile, hey, I'm doing good, bro. You been everything all right? Yes, that's cool. You know why? Because humans are social creatures. Interaction is what's going to build you up. See, now what they did was they said social distance, and they did it for a whole calendar year. You know what happened after that? A lot of friendships got deteriorated because of that. A lot of family members got turned off by having that communion with each other.
Right.
And now they said, okay, during the time when the whole so-called pandemic really broke out and they had cases everywhere, oh, you got to lock down for 2 weeks. We got to bring this stuff down. They never mandated no mask. Did you notice that? But then they waited till now when everything kind of started coming down, people started going out more and so on and so forth. Then they start saying, yo, you got to put the mask on. The mask, we got to, save lives. You love your family members. They put that fear in you. You know why? Because they need to have a symbol, something to remind you that there's something out there. That's why they call it an invisible enemy. You can't see it, but believe us, we're telling you it's there. But if you actually take that mask off and you open your eyes and you see what's really happening, it's not there. You're not going to believe us anymore. The lies, the control that we're trying to have on you people, take your businesses away from you, take your life away from you, take your liberties away from you, tell you to conform to this new ideology of life, and we tell you that we're doing it to save your life, right? If you wake up to that fact, you're not going to do anything we tell you to do anymore. You're not going to believe the madness. So keep the mask on to remind you that there's something out there. So now when you see Bob across the street, you don't see Bob as Bob. You see Bob coming down as a virus coming to you.
I gotta protect myself.
I got to put the mask on your face. Oh, somebody's coming close to me. Let me move away. But 2 years ago, if you see Bob, you're never going to, even if Bob was coughing and sneezing, you would never be like, oh, Bob, oh, let me put my mask. No, you would never do that, man. You see? So they, in one calendar year, they took everyone from a normal life and they put you in an abnormal life and told you to call it a new normal.
Right.
And now people bought it, man. You got it.
This is a practice that is not new. Back in the 70s, when a movie called Close Encounter of the Third Kind, y'all remember that? Y'all ever saw Close Encounter of the Third Kind?
No, I never saw that.
Well, it's a chariot movie, but the main thing that I'm bringing out about that is they use the tactic. The military used the tactic in trying to make people avoid a certain area where the hot spot was, where the chariots were supposed to be. And the tactic was, they said it was an outbreak, and they had people quarantined and wearing masks and everything, like, yo, evacuate this whole town right here. And one person who was the person who was so-called abducted, he went outside he was like a main dude that they was trying to target because he had a direct encounter. Well, anyway, they all masked up. They getting shipped by buses. He was like, yo, I think they're lying. I think there's no outbreak. I think they just trying to evacuate the town, because the chariots were so heavy in rotation there that he went out of the box while under the gun of the military. He was like, yo, I'm gonna just take this mask off in front of all the people that was quarantined on the bus with him. And they were all panicking, like, don't take your mask off, you're gonna die. He took the mask off and he like, ain't nothing happened to me. And so he like, yo, it's a lie, yo, y'all better get out of here. They getting ready to take us to, they getting ready to kill us because we were directly connected with this abduction situation. So he dipped off, and the military was on him, like guns were blazing trying to get this guy, because he would let the cat out the bag.
He's an anomaly.
He was a whistleblower because he took the shit off and he was like, yo, man, ain't nothing wrong with this town. Ain't nobody dying. Look at the birds. They still living. Because some birds was dying, but it was because they sprayed something over the whole territory where people was getting killed. I mean, dying. They was killing them with some type of gas that they was releasing from the helicopter. Y'all need to check that movie out. It's called Close Encounter of the Third Kind. But what I'm saying is that practice that they doing right now, it's effective, but it's not new. They did it before, and they put it in a movie. And of all movies, it had to be set with involving China.
Sure, yep.
Yeah.
Some outbreaks and so on and so forth, man.
Same old story. Do you quick question. Do you believe in the Bible? You do? Do you subscribe to what we're saying? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
What's your thought on the whole situation going on? You know, this whole thing that we're in, the pandemic situation. Yeah. You mind or no? All right. So, yeah.
I think depends how you look at it. It's, so- system, body system.
Mhm.
And I think it's personally have my own ideas about it. I think regardless of whoever created the virus or what the government says about it, what about it, I think the destination is already set by whatever you may call it. Now we have different ways of getting to that destination. You know, let's say there's a beginning and an end. You know, however, I believe in an ever advancing civilization. I believe this world is at no beginning, no end. The only thing my belief system is that every cycle starts with someone we know. Let's say Adam, and it's cycle, and then it ends with a certain prophet, and then a new cycle. So I think is that regardless of whether, whatever, however we look at it, let's say we all have to go, we have a beginning in our lives and an end. How we go through that life is up to us. It's a free will. So from that point of view, however, I do believe God has sent his messengers to help us get close to him and know him. Now he's an unknowable essence, but he's also put his own signs within every human being in order to achieve that within himself. Now the scriptures and every prophet, I do believe, are in a way sort of a signs and a guideline. They're all sort of directing us to ourselves, because I think the idea has always been that God is out there, you know, something we got to get to. We got to do this and this and this and this in order for God to help us enter a paradise. But what from my belief system is that someone who does something to get to paradise surely will get paradise. But he who does something to get to God doesn't need paradise.
What is exactly is your belief system?
No, I don't mind. I believe in the Baha'i faith.
Oh, okay, all right. The Baha'i thing. I'm not too familiar with it, but I see. Okay, so you believe some things in the Bible, but your main thing will be the Baha'i faith.
No, I do believe in the entire Bible. So with the Baha'i faith, Baha'i the prophets of God that have come from Abraham, Adam, Moses, Muhammad, just because, and then Baha'u'llah, which is the prophet of Baha'i faith. We believe in the progressive revelation, and that every prophet can be based on, and the message that God was based on people's understanding at that time. Meaning, I think what you said sort of popped out this exact point, saying something about you can only give milk to the baby and give them food. That at the time of Moses, Moses says that if someone slaps you, you need to turn the other cheek. They people couldn't comprehend. But the time passed, and then Jesus came in and said, "No, this is the time." That people had. So that's my understanding. And so the whole purpose of the Baha'i faith is the unity of humanity, meaning that in order for humanity to evolve from its materialistic and animal station, it needs to be unified. That sounds like a very lofty and cute idea, but in a way it requires all these other things, meaning all the elimination of social prejudices, all of these things have to take place in a society in order for unity to be achieved. And until that unity is achieved, people are always fighting one another in a sense.
Can I stop you there for a second? I'll let you back real quick. Hey, he reminds me of what's his name? Damn, Berlin from Money Heist. You remember Berlin?
Hey,
Quick
question. What's your nationality?
Persian? Okay. Yeah. So Elon, yeah. So you know in the Bible, your biblical nationality would be an Elamite. You know, from the 18 nations of the Bible. So you mentioned about the unity. So do you believe that God wants everybody to be unified? Okay. And do you believe that his son, you know, the Messiah, died for everybody to be unified? Do you believe that's what the Bible says? All right, so I'll let you first go.
Is there any way you could prove that in the Bible, like specifically verbatim, or this is based on like your interpretation or whatever it could be?
Like I wouldn't know the Bible as well as you do. I do believe in what it says, obviously, but it's almost like, can you prove that you exist? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, in a sense, like, yeah, can I say, because here is the thing, I believe no one just without any specific belief system and knowing of something would just come and sacrifice themselves for others. Okay, it's like, especially at like 2,000 years ago, when people were barbarians, like they wouldn't even go that far as caring for others, much less caring for other people's sins or wanting to, die. So
okay, all right. Well, as the brother's gonna go into, where when you go into the scriptures in dealing with the Messiah, you know, who we call Yahushua, not Jesus Christ, but going into the Messiah, it's contrary to that, because when you read it, according to what is written in there, he didn't die for, you know, the whole world's sins, right? Because think about it. When it's Matthew 1:21, I'm gonna just quote it for you. It lets us know it was a prophecy that when he was born, what he was gonna do. The reason the angel told Mary to call him in the Hebrew Yahushua was because he was gonna deliver his people, right? Specifically, now his people being possessive, right? So you would think his people being everybody in the whole of existence, but Acts 5:31 tells you he specifically died for the nation of Israel, right? Who are the children of Israel. But that is not the whole entire world, right? Because he died to save a certain people, but save them from who? Because everybody can't be saved. What are we all going to save from, right? The Lord is coming to deliver some people, and he's coming to destroy some people. Did you know that the Bible says the Lord is coming to kill people?
well, punish, I would say.
In what way?
I think the Almighty God, you may be right. That's the opinion you have. But I think the Almighty God wouldn't just create an entire planet with people all over and then have just its blessing upon one nation.
176? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because the rest of the population existence would be pointless at that point. It's
Okay.
almost like they are just there, to watch the rest of, like, just certain people pass away, which is again, that would bring up the idea of caste system, which means there's certain people are better than all these other people that don't know the Lord or are not familiar with. So the rest of them are just meant to just be and are doomed, and only a certain nation, which is just, if we look at it from that point of view, just Israelites, are meant to save. So
This is Matthew 10 and 5.
Okay.
These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Oh, real quick, when you read it, use the word Yahushai. When
Right.
we say Yahushai, the world refers to him as Jesus Christ, but we refer him as Yahushah. In case
That's
just
true,
to push the
that's a true
vibration
name.
up.
Because
Yeah.
names carry a vibration. You know what I'm saying? If your name is Michael and you're walking down the street and somebody's calling you James, you're not going to respond to that. So I think it's very disrespectful that the Heavenly Father himself given his name, and people don't call him by the name. They want to call him whatever they feel like calling him. That's wrong. If you're a boss and you own a business and you hire somebody to come in there who's working for you, you own the business. You have all the power. You can fire and you can hire. It's the same thing. The Most High creates and he destroys. So if he said, this is my name, call me by this name, and you say, oh, no, I'll call you whatever I want. You see where the problem comes in? Now, you did mention something about it not making sense that there will be a certain people who are reserved for salvation and the rest are just living to be destroyed. Yes. Why? Because the Most High is the one who made it that way. Now, to the human mind, who is not spiritually discerned, they might look at it and say, oh, that's flawed. That's a flawed thought or ideology. But then the scriptures here, there's a book of Isaiah chapter 55, right? And just so you know, we're literally, like, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the exact verses, because we didn't wake up and say, hey, this is how we want it to be. We're going to show you the exact verses in which our points are coming from, from the Bible. And then from then, I'm going to ask you again, because now you're going to see from the same Bible that you believe in, these are the words coming out of it. Right. So there's a book of Isaiah, which we know Isaiah to be one of the prophets of the Most High, right? It says, Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8, the Lord said, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, saith the Lord Yahweh. You see, so if he created, for example, a car, I'll give an example, a Nissan Pathfinder, will not tell the people who create Nissan to say, well, you should have made me an Altima instead of a Pathfinder. No, the one who created the car says, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to become. Remember, sometimes it's hard to understand and accept. That's okay. But the whole world, as it's instituted and constructed right now, is a movie. It's a movie by the ultimate Father himself, the Most High Yahweh. He created everything, as we all know. Yourself, all the brothers here, everyone, everything in existence was created by a power, right? And then he said, this is how I want creation to be. I have created a people that I've separated to myself to be my people. The rest, you do whatever you want. But understand at the end of all this movie, once it's done playing out, my people will be at the top, ruling over the whole entire earth with the people on top of it as well. Now, right now that we're living in this world, we are in a kingdom, believe it or not. It's just not the kingdom of the Israelites, it's the kingdom of the Edomites.
Right. Do you believe somebody's in rulership right now, or are we all on the same equal platform in terms of societal hierarchy?
leadership.
Like you would say, it's not us, right? It wouldn't be, your people either, but it will be who we see on the face of the dollar bill, because throughout history, recent history, that dollar bill has become like sort of like the world reserve currency. And those who are controlling it, those who are over the United Nations and the European Union and NATO and America and all of that, who own the IMF and the World Bank, they're not you, they're not me, they're so-called white people, rich, to the elites. I'm talking about the elites,
Rothschild,
right? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers,
Rockefellers.
so on and so forth. They're the ones in top in rulership right now, right? We all, yeah, you know, we have our governments and stuff, but we're all technically under them. They have the major influence over the world right now. Now, when you go back in history, during each time period, it was like that, but with different people. Because guess what? Your people got to rule too, right? Now, going back to the Persian Empire, the Achaemenid Empire, that was your people. The Elamites, Xerxes, Darius, that was your people. And they were ruling literally, I mean, Xerxes had over 127 provinces. He ruled over the whole world, the Persians,
The whole known world.
the whole known world. Then the Greeks came after. Now, when the Greeks came after, the Persians weren't on the same level as them. They got taken down. Everybody else was down, and then the Greeks, starting with Alexander, and then, you know, all the different empires, they were also, not empires, but rulers, they were also on top. Then they went down, and then the Romans came on top. So when you look at the cycle, let's say we take it all the way back to Egypt, right? We're not going to go too far, but let's say we go to Egypt. Then you had the Assyrians. Then you had the Babylonians. You know, then you had the Medo-Persians. So throughout history, you had different empires that have reigned, right, over other people. And it's always been like that. Once one goes down, the other comes up. It's like a cycle that keeps going. And in Daniel 4:17, it tells you the Most High sets it up that way, according to the Bible, to fulfill prophecy, right? And so in this last empire we're in, the so-called white man, right, the Edomites, the elites, they're the ones ruling right now. We're going to call them Edomites, right? That's the biblical name. Just trying to use biblical terms, right? So you have Israelites, you have Edomites, which would be like the so-called white people, right? Now, I did mention your people, but I can't, you know, straight up confirm that you're an Elamite, because I'll just throw this out there, you know, for edification's sake. You have Israelites, according to the curses that the Lord cursed them, that they will be scattered amongst all nations on the earth. Meaning that you're going to have Israelites that are going to look like Elamites. They're going to be living in the area of Persia, and they're going to look like Persians, but their bloodline, their nationality goes back to an Israelite. So I don't know if you could be an Israelite or you could be an actual Persian. So I can't, you know, I'm just going off of, you know, what you told me, but I don't want to straight up say, oh, you're an Elamite or this, right? That's why I said that. Now we're going to go back and deal with the exact point, because I don't want us to just drift off into the horizon, right? So before we get into these precepts, let's bring this out, because we had mentioned what you had also mentioned about one people being above all others. Let's read that.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6.
Now remember, Moses was, you could say Moses was given the first 5 books, right? The Torah, right? And Deuteronomy is a part of those books. And this is what is written in there. Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 6th verse.
Okay, this is Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Oh, there's a chariot right there. It's bird. Go away out, but you know, that's like, it's by the tree. It's pretty faint, but maybe it'll brighten up. You know, I'm always seeing them anyways. Yeah, look, it just lit up. Maybe it'll brighten up again. It's in the branches somewhere. But anyway, let's just keep going.
All right. 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Uh-huh.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So he's talking to the nation of Israel here, right? And he's telling them that you are an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Holy meaning separate. Huh? Okay. Right now or after? Okay.
Okay. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So then we're holy, and the Lord chose us to be special unto him. Let's read the next part.
That's a possessive act.
Right.
If you choose something, that means that there is options.
Something that's not chosen.
And then you chose that thing. You made it a choice. I picked this out, made it unique. It means something to me.
Right.
There's so many cars. I went to the store and I picked this car. Now I might like a Lambo. A Mercedes might be. The Mercedes can't look at me and be like, why don't you pick me? I'm a car too. I could drive you anywhere you want. Well, I choose a Lambo. That's my preference.
Right.
I'm paying for it. Same thing with the Lord. All right. Go ahead.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So now read it all together.
Okay. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So here he's literally telling them that the Lord chose you to be special to him above everybody else that's on the face of the earth. So that is, you could say that's not fair. That's not equal. Because the Lord chose the nation of Israel above everybody. If you read throughout the Bible and you even the stories, you'll see that there's a favoritism towards these particular people, dealing with Moses delivering them from Egypt. Like I mentioned earlier, the flood, when the Red Sea parted, it closed on the Egyptians. It killed the Egyptians. And then the Lord told the children of Israel, go and kill. He literally slay, utterly, meaning kill them all. The Canaanites. Imagine that. He says, go to this land. There's people living there. They have wives, they have children, they have families. Kill them all and take their land. That's what the Most High commanded the children of Israel to go and do. And it's literally written in the Bible. And they literally went and did as he commanded them to do. Burnt the cities and everything. So why is it that he's telling these people, slay these people? But what about the love? Why is he not treating the Canaanites fairly? You know, when you look through it all, whenever the nation of Israel was subject to another nation, it was because they disobeyed the Lord and he was angry. So he would set up another nation to come and take them down and put them in slavery. But whenever they repented, it didn't matter what the other nation did. They were down, they were gone. And then the nation of Israel came back up. So if you notice that, I got you, that's a favoritism towards one people above everybody else in all of these instances. So then you think about it and say, well, is the Most High really fair? But here's another question. Does the Most High have to be fair? Because if he is the Most High and he can do whatever he wants, we may say we want everybody to be equal, but maybe that's not what he wants.
Right. We also always got to remember that we can't attribute the Lord as like, oh, he's just a robot somewhere, just sit, like you said, he's far, and there's nothing else that he knows about. We're just life, we just do whatever we want. That's not possible. Why? Even the animal kingdom shows us things about the creation or some type of nature from the Most High. We have that. No parent, give an example, when tax season comes, you don't go file taxes and claim other people's children on your taxes. No, it's only your children that you deal with. Look at the animal kingdom, for example. A lion or a lioness will never nurse a hyena or a hyena baby, never. She'll kill it, if anything, right? Because it's not even of hers. A lion will come into a pride and take over and kill off all the cubs, the male cubs, right? Because it's not even of his seed. You see, so everything is possessive. Another possessive attribute of the Lord is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 10, start off at 14. It says, behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is the Lord's. That's possessive. Thy God. It says, the earth also with all that therein. It says, with all that therein is. So includes the people, the animals, create the tree, everything. The Lord created it for his own pleasure. Right? Verse 15. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers, which we just read, Deuteronomy 7 and 6, to love them. The fathers going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's where the covenant goes. Not Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. Not Abraham, Ishmael, and whoever. Not Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, but Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's where the covenant lies. That's the covenant that the Lord Yahweh himself made with a certain people on this earth. Right? It says, and he chose their seed after them, meaning their line, their lineage after them, right? Even you above all people, as it is this day. So there is a clear distinction between a certain people and the rest of the world. You see, now that's not of us. We're not just saying it. We just read it. Oh, you see? What you guys saying?
Second Ezra, 6. We all come. Oh, you have it? Yeah. That's just the perfect cut right there. We can bring it out whenever. Amos 3. Yeah, I think the brother had that as well. Okay, but get Second Ezra first. Second Ezra 6, and then we'll go into that. Because now you have we all come from Adam. That's where all of us come from. But yeah, we're all God's children. But here's how the Most High works: is like the brother said, you go into a sneaker store. You see one that you like, you choose it over the rest. You buy it. That's it. End of story. That's just what I wanted, right? Most High created everybody, and he says, look, these are my chosen people, and the rest are going to have to serve them, right? And that's just the way I wanted it to be. I want one people on top, and it is somewhere. It looks like a chariot, right? Yeah, I've been looking at it the whole time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a chariot.
Oh, that's a chariot. Yeah. It's in case you wonder what we're looking at, is
what the world will call UFO. But it was the chariots of the Lord. Yeah.
When you read in the scriptures, it's what the
Does seem like the same idea that you are talking about right now as like the Israelites being the chosen people. It seems like throughout history or even right now, people have also like other people, because that would create this dissension, right? The people that are not chosen, let's say in the past, whether it was Germany or even right now, they can easily be like, oh, well, if you're not equal and I'm not chosen, then why can't I be the better race or a better population or a better nation? You know, since I'm doomed anyway, right? And I'm going out to hell. It seems like that's the destination. So what? I'm gonna take it upon myself and take the control, and I'm gonna do everything I can here to make sure that even if it's just this life, okay, and I'm doomed after, then I am going to win this thing, and I'm gonna rule over everyone else and screw everybody else because that was
Oh, guys, but that defeats. Right, right.
yeah.
which is exactly
Yep.
Right.
because everyone thinks they're special, you know. Because now here's the thing. Again, you guys mentioned something that it's everyone's interpretation of the same thing. You know, our interpretation doesn't mean it's true. It's just an opinion, right? It's my own. Now it's my responsibility to seek and find the truth in my heart, not what because the intellect gets in the way of the heart. You know, the mind always tricks and finds a reason for the most horrible things people do. Okay, which is exactly what's happening right now. The mind always reasons everything. Okay, even if a person comes upon a situation where they're going to kill a person and they will kill a whole population, they will reason it or whatever, whether it's a better race or I am better or I'm entitled to it. They will reason it. Now that doesn't mean that it's true what they're saying. It's just their own idea and interpretation of what they have come to realize. It doesn't mean it's true. So what I've come to realize that the mind always gets in the way of the heart. Now, in my belief system, God created the entire universe and created man's heart to be his home. Now he comes home every time and sees there's something else in his home and turns away. So and he who goes to hell, for example, there's not a specific place that's called hell, for example. It's just because they have shut that door and they're not. So the further a person is from the Creator, that becomes their own hell. The further they are in the depth of hell and the closer they are to Him, that's what I would call the paradise.
Yeah, but then you see, but then that will also that will validate what we've been saying, that people on Earth don't naturally think of themselves as a race of people, and they look to be equal with everybody else. Everybody's always looking to be on top of somebody. Everybody's always looking to rule somebody. That's just the nature. Look where we are, exactly. But the reason why the world is in this situation it is in now, because those who are actually ruling they have a vibration of wickedness. And for them, it's not just about ruling, it's about destruction. You see, the scriptures talk about these people who are ruling, known as the Edomites. They're known as the son of perdition, all right, the people of destruction. They're also known as the harbinger of death. When you say something is a harbinger, it goes to basically those who set a place ready for a ship to come and dock, the harbor. So those who come in there prepare the place for the ship to dock is known as a harbinger. Exactly. So the scriptures is basically attributing these kind of people to death. They are before every time they're around, death follows with them. It tells you in the book of Revelation too. You see the man, the red horse,
Yep.
and then death followed after him. Everything they do is all about death, death, death. There's no life in them. That's why they can go to different countries and wage war on them, because the people don't want to use their currency. You see, you don't want to play by our rules. We're gonna put sanctions on you. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna create proxy armies, name them ISIS, and then use them to come into your country, which would justify us using our army to come fight that terrorist group. But in reality, there's no terrorism there. It's just people who come against our narratives of oppression on them. Because they want to fight against us, we need to create a whole thing, use the media, all right, to back what we're saying up, and then we can go in and attack them. Justify it.
I would say people really don't do anything unless there's something in it for them. Like, let's say you wouldn't just get up and go, to California for no reason.
Right.
So unless if you find, hey, there's a good job in California for me, whatever you're interested in, they have it there, then you want to find a way to get it. Okay?
Right.
Now, that may be in different ways. It can be deception. It can be creating a whole circumstance around it where you feel entitled and can reason your move,
right,
to that point. But why I stopped to listen to you guys before I go is because I see you're committed to find, to truth. You're not necessarily like, stuck in a certain, a lot of people are just like, shut the doors. I know this is it, that's it, that's done. But, the moment I feel like the moment I think that I know is exactly what I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's
If any man thinks that he is something,
So I would personally, and I think truth is everywhere. And I think if anything is alive, it means it has life in it and it has God in it. Personally, that's my own perspective. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't come to existence, because the spirit that moves the thing, it may be an animal, it may be a human being. There is a virtue, a quality of the Creator in there. Otherwise, listen, if any of us die at this very moment, the same exact body is here. But the thing you can't see is left, which means I'm done. I'm dead. And frankly, they would bury me. But the same guy is here. But the thing you can't see. So if that thing that is operating within everything, whether it's a tree, because it's alive, right? Anything that's alive, that's the proof on its own that God is in.
like the spirit.
Oh, the spirit.
Yeah, the spirit. Yeah, so I understand exactly what you're saying, dealing in that terms. Now, I know you said you had to go, so we're going to try to just hit this real quick. Like the overall moral, because you referred to it a couple of times about looking where we are today. And it's sort of like how, what a caste-like system of society has led us to, which is why there's so much bloodshed and so much so on and so forth in the world. So we're going to bring this out real quick, because the ultimate end goal is we all want peace. Like, even us, we don't, as Israelites, we're not out here like, well, we just want peace for ourselves, where we're just the only ones, everybody else is suffering. Ultimately, when we come into rulership as prophesied in the Bible, it's going to be peace for the whole world. But it has to be through a righteous order. Each of these different empires, like the ones I listed before, they all cared about how they're going to rule by themselves, right? What are we going to do? Forget everybody else. We're going to rule through the laws of the Bible. When we institute the laws of the Bible, everybody's going to be good to an extent. Now, they're not going to be on the same level as us, but they're not going to want to be. Because if I see somebody that's rich and I'm poor, I envy them because I'm hungry and they're full. But if I'm full and I'm happy doing whatever I want to do, they're just richer than me, but I have whatever I want. I don't need to envy them, because so what if they're richer than me? I have whatever I need. That's the kind of world that's going to happen. That's the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on earth. It's going to be a righteous order that we're going to institute. In this society, the rulers, these Edomites, they're out here buying islands and doing pedophile activity on that island, just harming things, poisoning the air we breathe through the chemtrails, constantly causing oppression, going into other people's country and creating unnecessary wars and all these different things, and then they turn around and blame those people. You know, like the U.S. and Iran, for example. You know, they'll do this and they'll say, "Oh, Iran is the big bad boogeyman," trying to constantly cause disruption in the earth. We're not going to rule that way. Now, when we first come into rulership, we're going to need to make sure everything is in righteous order. But after that, everything is going to go smoothly because we're all going to be on the same accord. We're going to be like the lawgivers of the world. You know, this is what you have to do. You don't do this. If you do what you're not supposed to do, you get punished. But we're all going to be on one accord. So bring that out real quick.
And to add on to brother's point, everything is going to be done in a righteous order. It's going to take some time to switch how wicked the world is now to turn it from darkness to light. So it's going to take some time, but within that time, it's going to be, everyone is going to be happy, like the brother said. It's going to be the kingdom of heaven. Heaven meaning a state of paradise for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're ruling or not. You're going to be in paradise. Right now, we're in the kingdom of hell. So everything is all the way it is now. Yeah, you might have some people that can make it, but are you really making it though? Really, no. You're not living the life you wish you could live. Wouldn't anyone just wake up and say, I'm going to hop on a private jet and just go Dubai someplace, spend a whole vacation, chill out, and not have to worry about a damn thing?
Isn't that just because this point keeps coming up in my mind that that's only if you're looking at it from a material point of view and a material existence, which everyone is. But I think the idea that God has, I think he's far beyond this material. That's why, like, even in the Bible or, Christ himself talks about, like, in order to get to the kingdom, you need to turn your back to the world, right? Right? You need to die in self to live in God, for example, right? So it's not, I think the idea is that we need to be able to distinguish and separate, is that we're not talking about the material existence, because this world, like Baha'u'llah says, Baha'i faith, is like a blink of an eye to the life of the soul. We're talking about soul, which is like eternal, and it will continue after this world and the other worlds of God. This world, if you're looking at it only from the perspective of material, then yes, then we need to do that, and certain people, like, basically we need to create that in here. But I think that's not, I think once spiritually we are able to get to that point, then that automatically establishes here that everyone's need is provided in a sense. There may be some, obviously, that there has to be some sort of hierarchy, to coordinate that. But I think in a sense, it's not, it's important. It would be important to sort of be able to not look at it from a material perspective.
So, do you believe in reincarnation?
I don't believe that. Well, that's why I said there are other worlds of God. Now, however, we're always like progressing towards God.
Okay.
Right? From a Baha'i perspective. Now, how we do that in here, it's almost like how we were in the womb of a mother. Baha'u'llah gives us an example. The womb of a mother, a baby is basically having all these different hands and feet, growing, right? So without those attributes, let's say someone is born into this world without eyes or without hands, they're handicapped. They can't function as comfortably and as easily. They can't benefit, fully. So it's the same way how we are developed spiritually in this world. Spiritual, okay, will determine how we are in the next world. How we enter the next world as well. So that's really I think the perspective from the spiritual, point of view, and that's really where the true power. And that's why I feel like what Jesus says, you have to die in self to live in God. That's the absolute and the true power, meaning that because a man is a slave to his own desires and needs and thoughts, because it's in his physical form, okay? Needs and desires. The time he's able to turn his back, his own desires, and look completely the other way, meaning he's dominated his own mind and desires and needs, then he's free. And the whole idea, I feel, of any manifestation of God is to liberate human beings from that station of mere animal, which is reactive, instinctual, immediate to their own needs and desires to go and get, to be able to live a fully spiritually godlike life, which is completely free of this world, and everything is provided.
You know what? I think I hear you, but I think what it is here is that we have two different beliefs. Obviously, we do, and we have two different understandings. So before letting you go, here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna wrap it up nice, because we're not gonna bash you and say, "Well, you said you believe in the Bible, but look at what we're saying, and you don't believe in that, so no, damn you." Nah, there's no point in that, right? We should be able to, you bring yours, we bring ours, and we agree to disagree. But what we will say is prophecy. Before letting you go, the most important thing to let you know is prophecy. We got to give you the warning still. According to scriptures, and we're going to get that, Revelation 13 and so on and so forth, according to the scriptures, what's about to take place very soon as a result of this whole pandemic situation that's happening is they're about to usher in the mark of the beast. All right, get that real quick in Revelation 13. Yeah, just go straight to the point. They're about to usher in the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. It's an actual microchip. I don't know if you've heard about it, where they're implanting into people's bodies. The Apostle John saw that in the vision, and he had it written. He wrote it down, and that's what we have today. You do not take that mark under any circumstances. And we're going to read the judgment for taking the mark. But first, let's read what the prophecy is. I'm telling you what's going to happen in the future from now. Right? Go ahead.
Very near future.
Very near future. Go ahead.
Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls it all, both small and great.
Now, he is talking about the Edomites, the rulers, the ruling class, because they can control what happens here through laws and legislations. So he's going to cause, all right, everybody, both small and great, go ahead.
Rich and poor.
Whether you're rich or you're poor, go ahead.
Free and bond.
Whether you're free or you're in prison, or you're just an average person walking in the street, go ahead.
To receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
So he's going to cause you to receive a mark in your. Now, when you go into the word mark, the Greek word there is an incision, charagma, which is something that's incised, into your body. And that's what they do with the chip. The needle, they cut into your skin, and then they inject the needle and put it there. And that becomes your new way of, as we're going to read, he's going to cause everybody in the whole world to receive this mark. Go ahead.
And the cause goes into the word where you said oil, which means to fashion, or in this case, to condition. As you can see right now, since the whole C19, that's the code we use for COVID. All right. Since it started and since it became a thing, you see how the world has changed drastically. It's almost like, if you pay attention to it, it's almost like they're not attacking the virus, they're attacking everything else but the virus. That's part of the causing.
Yes.
Because they need to break down society to build it back up how they want it to be, so they can rule. Now, right now, you can use cash, you can use so many different ways. You can literally be on the grid, but be off grid. You see, they don't want that. They want to have complete control, not just of the system, but the people within the system. So they're going to do depopulation, right? And then after that, they're going to come out with the draconian way of living a life depopulated. And that's not something anybody wants to be in. Because life is literally going to be to the point where people are going to wish they were dead. Prisoners. Prisoners.
Going to be a prison planet.
So that's what they lead into. That's what the Apostle John saw. It was a revelation that the Lord showed him, a vision of the end times before the Messiah comes down to deliver us from this prison that we're in.
And that's what we're telling you, because that's what's going to happen. Now, check this out. Before you keep reading on there, the prophecy says they're going to do this in the last days, which we're in now. They're going to cause the world to try and receive a microchip in their body. Now, like the brother said, this whole pandemic, think about it. Before this pandemic, people had more freedoms and rights to do whatever they wanted to do. They couldn't, the government of the world governments couldn't just come out and say, hey, we're going to now mandate that everybody should have a microchip inside their body. Because the question would be, why? I don't need it. I'm not going to. You can't make me do it. So if you're an elite and you're having a council, what are you thinking? Okay, we want to microchip the whole world. How do we do it? Okay, Let's try a pandemic. So you create a pandemic, which is a world problem, cause a problem for the whole world. Now look at how the pandemic is going, right? You got a big old virus that attacks the whole world, and then you shut everything down, take away people's freedoms, take away their rights to do certain things, and tell them, in order to keep you safe, we have to do this. Everything is shut down. Then the next step is bring a vaccine, all right, or a potion, a solution. We don't use the real word for obvious reasons. So bring that solution. Now look at how they're playing it. What comes along with taking this vaccine? We need verification that you have it. Because if you tell me you've taken it, I can't just believe that. You need to show me proof. They're thinking through how to bring that chip about, right? So now you need a green passport, which is now what they're pushing now. You need that passport. Show me verification that you've taken this vaccine so I know you can return back to normal life. I know you're safe. And what's a part of returning back to normal life? Buying and selling, living in society, having a job. So it starts off with an app on your phone. But at this point, all I can say is, I know you need the app on your phone. I can just say, well, we're upgrading that technology to where instead of an app on the phone, people can hack it, your phone can get lost. We're going to transition it now to a microchip. So you have a COVID passport you can use around to get to places. But now we've upgraded it to where instead of having it on your phone, you need to now upgrade and get this chip. Same way your bank card. They upgrade it to contactless. What are you going to do about it? If you don't get it, you can't use a bank card. So if you don't get this new upgraded version of your passport, you can't use your passport. Now you obligated, instead of, well, why should I take a chip? I don't have to. Now you're saying, well, if I don't take this, I have the vaccine, but I can't do anything. So now I have to take this chip. So as an elite, you're thinking, well, this will work. I can use this to manipulate people into feeling like they need this chip, as where if I didn't set up this whole situation, they could have just brushed it off. But I need to use it in a way where they feel they need it. And I have power over them. And one way or another, they're going to fulfill that prophecy we're reading right there in getting those chips into people's arms. Like they say, get the jazz into the arms. They're going to get the chips into the arms. Into the arms. And guess what? In the very near future, you're going to see this in your life. And you're going to remember this conversation right here, like, oh, those young men were saying something about a microchip in people's hands. And you might get faced with it at your job or wherever, and they might say, hey, look, you got to get a chip or else you can't work here, or you can't continue with your normal life. And you'll remember. And then you start reflecting and say, wait, I need to go back and read the find what they're talking about, because then everything else we're saying is going to follow right after. So finish reading on Revelation 13.
Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
And they're doing this in Sweden, right? To where now they're saying if you don't have this chip, you cannot buy and sell anything. Simple. If you don't have a debit card, you can't, or if you don't have money, you can't buy and sell. But if the money now is on that chip, that is the new form almost of currency, then if you don't have the chip, you can't buy and sell. That's what they're going to do. They can do that because they control the money. They control the IMF. They control the world banks. They control the dollar bills. They control your job. They control all of it. They were able to change gold to silver to paper, right? So they can change paper to chip. And once again, they can say, well, you don't have to do it. Just know you can't buy anything. You can't go work. And if you want to live, you need to work to make money. So you got to come to us at the end of the day. And that's how they're going to cause people to take the chip. But the Lord said, do not take the chip. This is a test of your faith. You're now testing and saying, well, I used to make 6 figures, but if I don't take the chip, I'm not making any money. How do I feed my family? You know, how do I go about living? That's the test of your faith. Are you going to trust in the Lord and say, well, I don't know what to do, but I'm not going to disobey the Lord? Or are you going to say, no, this is too much. I need that chip to keep on living, to drive that nice car, to wear those nice clothes. And then let's read the judgment, Revelation 14 and 9. This is what the Lord said is going to happen to those who take the chip. See, we don't plan on taking it. And we pray to the Lord and his son that they give us the kind of mindset to resist it and not to take it, no matter the pressure they bring, because they're going to bring pressure. Very soon, they're going to call us terrorists. They're going to call us domestic terrorists. They're going to say we're the most evil of the evil. They're going to say it. And you might just see us on the news. They might say, these guys, they're doing this. Why? Because we're telling you the truth of the Bible. Now, you're aware that this is going to happen now because we told you. And now the Lord can put the spirit on you. You can say, I'm not going to do it. That affects their agenda. So that's why we're a problem. And they need to get rid of us. How do they get rid of us? Get the people to support them by calling us terrorists. So read that judgment.
Revelation 14.
I just want to say a little thing. I even have visions and stuff where people are saying, "Yeah, you're a terrorist," and they were saying, "Yeah, the they call us black Hebrew Israelites are terrorists," and like I couldn't dissuade nobody from it. It's like, no, terrorists, terrorists. Like their minds were just programmed to just calling us terrorists now.
And that's a prophecy. So we know what's going to happen, but what are you going to do? It's prophecy. Go ahead.
Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image,"
All right. So now the beast, all right, is the power structure right now by the Edomite power structure. And this power structure is really ruled by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, and the European Union. Whatever they push is what the whole world eventually succumbs to, because they control the trade and majority of these industries. Go ahead.
if any man worship the beast and his image,
So if you worship the beast and you're down with the system, all right, that is in place right now, you're complying with them. Go ahead.
and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand,
So if you receive that mark, you allow them to put that chip in your hand or in your head, because Elon Musk is talking about a Neuralink, a brain chip. That's the forehead that John saw. Because once the chip is in your head, they can scan your forehead and they can get whatever they need. If you end up taking that, no matter what the circumstances, the Lord does not care about the circumstance. If you take the chip, read what's going to happen. You notice too, part of the fashion, part of them getting people ready and conditioned for that. Notice this whole thing happening. Everywhere you go to any establishment that you go into, what do? They check the temperature. They scan your forehead or your hand. They're getting people conditioned. So when the time comes, you've already been doing it for a year, 2 years, whatever it might be. It's nothing. It's easy for you. Right.
It's easier to transit.
Exactly. There you go.
I wanted to add to that point. Also, if you notice the infrastructure of our system now, like when you go into the train station, they have that digital. So exactly, if you have the chip, you just swipe your hand and everything. Like even with the tapping, the when you go to pay like in a deli or
Contact
whatever,
base.
tap it. So they're getting you ready for having that in your in your body.
I agree with that. The only thing I would add is that if there's still going to be a caste system, certain people are going to be up top better than the others, right? If that's the idea, then the majority of the people who are not Israelites wouldn't care about the circumstance or consequences, because they're like, well, I'm doomed anyways, it seems. You know what I'm saying? So what's the difference?
Well, the difference is that the prophecies pertain predominantly to the Israelites. So if you're an Israelite, it doesn't matter. You could look like a Chinese man. If you're an Israelite, it pertains to you, right? So you have our people, Israelites, who are scattered throughout all these other nations. And the Lord is using his prophets to give them warning, saying this is what's going to happen at the end. Do not take that chip. But at the same time, remember, everything that we're talking about was already predestined from the beginning of time. The Lord said this was going to happen at the end of the movie. Okay? At the end of the movie, even for the Israelites, I'm going to have a select few among those people, because my people as a nation, but I have a specific ones in that nation. So it's levels to it. Now he has a favorite nation among the nations, and he has a favorite people within that nation among that nation itself. That's
right.
the
Like I like Jordans, but I like specifically these kinds of Jordans.
Right.
Right.
See?
Those are my favorites.
So that's what makes it special. Now, what about the Israelites who are not going to make it? What about the Israelites who are going to die? Are they going to say my life was in vain too, like these other nations? Because they're going to die just like these other nations. Whoever is here in America, when the time comes, the Lord said he's going to destroy the land of America because of its wickedness by fire. Back in the times, how did he destroy the world? Do you remember? With water.
The flood. Noah's flood. Yeah,
with Noah, right? This time he said, I'm not going to do it with water. I'm going to do it with fire, right? Now, whoever's caught up in this land, regardless if you're an Israelite or not, you're going to be destroyed. Okay, that means you're not part of the elect. You see, this second salvation is not for everyone. That's what makes it so special.
No, but I see what you're saying though, because you're basically saying, well, if the salvation, regardless, is only going to be for the nation of Israel, why should I chosen of the nation of Israel? Right.
Can stick with the plan, Lord's plan, per se. They are going to go against the idea as well, because they're like, you know. Above
What does it
all,
matter to me?
that's why. Obviously, I have right, but I have to get to. But I think that's why the idea, and Baha'is do believe that the old world order is falling apart and the new world order will be established. You know, but I think the idea of establishing the most great peace and unity, you know, where there is no elite per se, like there's no one better than the other, because whenever there is, you know, one nation or one culture or one race is claiming to be better, you know, the rest of the nations are going to feel left out and feel animosity towards it, and that will create war regardless. Okay, so I think, and that will be a never-ending thing. So the idea of like establishing it in such a way, because we have evolved in our consciousness and in our awareness to such a degree that we have seen so many of it in history, that we can now come to an understanding, okay, we've seen that so many times, it doesn't work. Why don't we try something completely different where everyone is included rather than only a certain people? Because the same idea is also was introduced by, I mean, obviously there's no comparison, you know, but in different ways it was introduced by, you know, different people, you know, throughout history. And obviously it didn't work because some people take it to an extreme, you know, and the rest feel, you know, left out and they need to react to that. So,
Real quick. Right. So, and I'll let you go. I know you got to go, but on this level, I deal with two things, right? The first thing being, why should they care about even not taking the chip? They're not going to get salvation anyway. But according to the scriptures, well, you're right. They're not, because they're going to get destroyed by the missiles anyway. But but then also going back to the main point, the reason we're out here at the end of the day, yeah, we're saying it's everybody, but we know that only the elect, those chosen within, those are the only ones that we're out here really trying to get them to understand it. So that's why we don't know exactly who it is. So we got to throw the net out there. And if you're of the elect, you'll get caught into it and you'll get saved. Everybody else, that's just how the Lord said it. Now, number two, like you were saying about the hierarchical system, the level the Lord is going to put us on, Psalms 82:6, I have said, you're gods. The Lord is going to put us on such a high level that the other nations are not going to want to be, they're not going to hate us. Like, for example, we don't look at God and say, we're not equal to God, so I don't want him to rule over me, because he's on such a high level.
and we would, because if you're looking at something or someone as a completely separate entity, then you have no relation to it, then why should that thing be over you or rule over you if you have no relation to it?
But if you depend on it, and it blesses you and so on and so forth. But here's the thing though. Oh, what does it say? All nations shall be blessed through thy seed. Here's the thing. When we're in rulership, everybody's going to be blessed through us.
Solomon, he was ruling, he was still doing trades with other nations, and there was 40 years of peace. And they also called that time with Solomon the Dark Ages as well. That was like actually the first Dark Age with Solomon, when everything was quiet around that time. And all nations was actually at peace. It was when he went off, that's when shit got fucked up for Israel. And that's when all the other nations, that's why we have these wars here.
The scriptures say that the nations are going to know war no more. Because when we're in rulership, yes, like you're saying, it's going to be a system, but we are going to make sure everybody is good. They're going to be under us. There's not going to be nobody's going to want to be over us. Trust me. But check it though. According to prophecy, we're not just going to come into power and rule over people. We're going to be made gods. That's what the scriptures say. The children of Israel.
The difference between us and the wicked is when the wicked rule, the world mourns. When the righteous rule, the world rejoice. You see?
And one thing too I'll say is that we all have one common enemy. Nobody likes Satan. And Satan has his physical counterpart, which are the people who are ruling right now. Once those people are taken out of power, you happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. We're going to be good. Now, before that time comes, like you said before, nations will always want to fight and go to war and so on and so forth. The way this place is going to be taken out is going to be so emphatic that nobody's going to ever, in their wildest dreams, wake up and say, "I want to go up against that nation right there." It's never going to happen. Like the Egyptians, after the Lord destroyed them in the Red Sea, they never ever woke up and said, "We're going to go up against those Israelites." It was done. Just like all these other kingdoms, the Greeks, the Romans, and so on and so forth. Same thing will happen here to America. Once America goes down and the Israelites get put on top, the whole world will be in a rejoicing state, no matter where you are on this earth, because we're going to be in the land of paradise. The whole earth will be made a paradise. The animals will be happy. The people will be happy.
Trees gonna
The
be good. Food is
everything.
gonna taste good. The earth is gonna be clean.
Life will be lived where you're going to feel like, I'm finally living life. Like I'm happy.
Actually, I would
This
love
free?
to see that,
Oh,
and I'm looking forward to it.
There you
The
go.
my only doubt about that is usually man himself and man's greed gets in the way of that, you know. And there was in the 40s in the Bronx Zoo, there was a mirror as soon as you enter the zoo, and on top of it, it says the most dangerous animal in the world. So I think everyone, you know, the road to hell is paved with intentions. You know that saying. So as long as we don't get in our own way, I absolutely look forward to that day. You know what you guys are talking about, and I would love to see that. Thank
Hey,
you.
we would love to see you there as well. But see, we're not gonna be ruling like men, because the Lord is gonna ascend us past that. So hey, you be safe, man. If you are if you're not an Israelite, hopefully the Lord. If you're not an Israelite, my best advice is leave America as best as you can. Don't go to any of the top countries, because World War III is prophesied in the Bible and it's gonna happen. You see the tensions. You see Russia, Iran, the tensions with Israel and all that. World War III is gonna pop off. That's gonna be the judgment for those who take the chip. Now, I advise you find a nice country that's like not even in there. Find a nice island and just chill there for a while till we come into rulership, because you don't want to be in America. It will be destroyed.
The Messiah is not playing. When he comes down, he's not going to be negotiating or talking.
Yeah.
He's here to fight. That's going to be it.
Last thing is Messiah. Last thing, behind for me, the Baha'u'llah is the returned Messiah,
Okay.
which he came 200 years ago in Persia. You know, based on the Quran or the Bible, you know, the dates do exactly match with the date of his coming. And what basically he was in prison for 40 years. He ended up in Haifa in Israel, and that's where he passed away. But he wrote for 40 years, you know, about establishing unity and most places, and basically the prophecies he's mentioned are also coming to pass. You know, as far as the old world order falling apart, you know, and the new world order establishing, and not getting involved in politics as far as, because it's corrupt fundamentally. So those things. So I think we have some commonalities there, although you guys are probably better.
Yeah,
Hey, look,
look.
hey, but you know what? We believe in different messiahs. Our messiah's name is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and when he comes with the big giant UFOs,
Everybody will know.
you gonna
Because
see
your
it.
Messiah, I didn't see your Messiah. But the
But you gonna
scripture
see
says you're going
ours.
to see our Messiah.
So hey, look, go your bed.
That may be. If I think like what I know and I have an idea, like I have never seen the truth. Meanwhile, I'm fighting over it.
Right.
So I am a Messiah, and I say, no, your Messiah is different than my Messiah. You know. Meanwhile, I have never seen my Messiah, for example. Saying,
But we see him through the scriptures.
Scripture, I would say, was written 2,000 years ago. It's passed on. If I tell you something, okay, and you pass it on for 2,000 years, I promise you, guaranteed, the person who's receiving the other end 2,000 years from now is gonna get a completely different idea of
That's if the Most High didn't preserve it.
But see, every book is like that except for the scriptures. It's just the creature that says that none shall want her meat.
That's why I would say most of what's in the scripture. Because here's the thing, I don't need to it doesn't necessarily. I don't have to look at it in a way of, hey, does this make sense to my mind? Or because I can reason it and I can feel it, whether that's true or not. That's how I don't need to just reason it with my mind and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So, and from that point of view, I think I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for letting me join the conversation.
Sure.
I enjoyed it. I'm all to
All right. Hey, so we'll see you in the. Hey, I'm Bakar, and that's a Hey, that's it. What did Paul say, man? If it be all possible, be at peace with all men. So, he might be an Elamite, but hey, we just told him what the truth is, and we keep it pushing. That's it. Ain't no need to.
See, now Esau sees things like this. How we domestic terrorists?
Thank you. Did we terrorize him?
We didn't terrorize him, man. He just spoke to us peacefully. He stood there peacefully, mind his own business. We interact, and then goes by his way. That's it. He gets the word. At least he got the warning. The prophets told him what's going on, and that's it. You see, like how we started. See how the Lord always does things. We came out talking about giving warning, all right, and giving the word to the elect. You ask somebody to pull up and stand here. He stood there for what, an hour now? Just listening.
He ain't even believe. He ain't even believe in what we're saying. But you got Jake, who he might not be an Israelite, but you got actual Israelites that gonna walk past it, talk shit, scoff, and do all that. Hey, the scriptures say the Lord said if this word had been preached in, I think he said Tyre or in another city, they would have repented, and they were heathens. We gotta close the scripture. Matter of fact, let's read Revelation 21. Yeah, start at the top. We'll probably end at like verse 4 or 5. Hey, we'll see him in the kingdom anyway. Yeah. And we're gonna be able to recognize that. Oh, that was him from over there. Hey, Shalom, victim of taskmaster.
He seemed calm. That's how you do it. That's it. Come up, speak, and then that's it.
But being an Israelite, he ain't gonna make it anyway. That's just the cold hard facts.
And he knew it too. He said it. So what would it matter if I was an Israelite? Why would I even care?
Well, you see, it's not. The spirits know. Hey, we gonna be in rulership, whether you like it or not. What I'm saying? That's just what it's gonna be. It's gonna benefit you to like it, because you better, you're gonna live with it. Forget that.
Revelation 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
That's that new world order. All right, it's a new rulership. Okay, not a completely new planet, but when you go into the word new, it's kainos, meaning refreshed. So the new rulership is going to be us, because in Revelation 12 it says Esau, his place was found no more in heaven. So the Lord is going to take his ass out of rulership, and he's going to set us up. And the righteous, matter of fact, we'll close off with that. Proverbs 29:2. We'll finish that here.
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
And that's this wicked rulership by Esau. 2nd Ezra 6:9. Go ahead.
And there was no more sea.
Mm-hmm.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down.
It's going through the branch now. Oh yeah, that's definitely a chariot. Yeah, if it comes out again, I'll let you know. But that's 3 today that that came up. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem.
Now the holy city is not an actual. John didn't see an actual building, but he's talking about the elect. Okay, go ahead, because as the Lord said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. We, all right, are the kingdom. The rest is just buildings. Go ahead.
Coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
And that's the elect coming down from the chariots. All right, from Yahushai's big giant chariot. All right, after the reunion, when we come down, that's what John is seeing. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them.
That's it.
And be their God.
That's it. He's going to be our God. And guess what, man? All these people we've met and interacted with all the years, they all going to see us in the kingdom. Whether they get destroyed on this side or not, they're going to see us in the kingdom. And the Lord is going to put in their spirit, and they're going to recognize, oh, those were those men. So look, man, at the end of the day, we all gonna find out what the truth is. But we believe that this is the truth, and time will tell. Go ahead, and it's gonna be all peace. You know, we might have to bash a couple heads in, but it's still through peace. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying.
And that's for the Israelites. Okay, go ahead.
Neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
That's it. No more pain. And we're not gonna go around causing unnecessary pain. We're gonna cause necessary pain when it's necessary. You know? And you said that was it. Actually, read the next verse. Yeah.
Verse 5, and he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful.
Boom. Right? For these words are true and faithful. And there's another chariot right there. I don't know if you can see this one. It's a little pink, but they're right up. Right there. You know? Yep. Faithful and true, man. And the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai are faithful and true. So as he was saying, well, he would hope, but he doesn't know if it's true. Well, we believe it's true because the Lord said it is. All right. So now let's go to Proverbs 29 and 2, and then we'll wrap it up. It's a nice day out. Day out. Yeah. Yeah. And we almost out of here, man. Look, don't get deceived by the peace and safety spirit. It's a prophecy. So this is actually progression in prophecy. When prophecy looks like it's not happening, that's actually progression in prophecy. Because prophecy is supposed to hit, boom, suddenly, you know, when people don't expect it. But we're going to keep our watch, man. We're going to keep our watch, and we're going to maintain our faith. Because we're not going to say, well, if you go based on what your eyes are telling you instead of what the scriptures tell you, that's when you're going to think, well, nothing is happening. No, the Lord said it's going to happen. So I don't care what I see, man. The world could look like La La Land, and I'm going to still believe that destruction is coming. Why? Because the Lord said it. That's it. Go ahead.
Just to make a point, what you're saying, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, when Obi-Wan was training Luke, he said when he put the helmet over Luke and he covered his eyes, he was like, how can I see the block the blast? He's like, don't trust your eyes, they can deceive you.
Thank you. Thank you. So the dude had it reversed. He said the mind reasons away from the heart, but Jeremiah 17:9 says the heart is desperately wicked, which really is all still in your mind anyway, because your actual organ ain't going to do nothing, you know? Yeah.
He said your eyes can deceive, don't trust it. That's how he said it.
That's right. That's right. So trust the scriptures, man. We walk by faith, not by sight. That's right. All right, go ahead.
Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
And that's what's going to happen. When this place goes down and we come into rulership, so everybody's going to rejoice. They might not understand, so we might need to beat the rejoicing into them, but they're going to rejoice. They're going to be like, why did I even need to get beat to understand this is beautiful? You look at the earth, hey man, if you look at the earth and it's a paradise, you're gonna forget about you're gonna be happy to be a slave in this society. You're gonna say, I'd rather be a slave in the kingdom of heaven than be an average citizen, a middle-class citizen in the kingdom of hell. That's it.
You'd rather be a slave in the kingdom of heaven or be the lowest in the kingdom of heaven than to be the highest over here in this land, man. You're living like a Kardashian or fucking or whatever, Bill Gates. It's gonna look like nothing. It's gonna be like a nightmare that you wish to wake up from, man, in the kingdom. That's how dope it's gonna be, man. You know what I'm saying? So imagine that. Put it on that kind of level. Like, this place is nothing compared to what we're gonna get. You know, it's not that we don't compare this place to what we're gonna get, man. That's why there's nothing in this world that's gonna please us or make us even think twice about saying, oh, Father, in the kingdom, man, I'll really just make it. No. There's no, it's not up for debate or compromise, man.
As you look around, the second you wake up and you open your eyes, you get reminded of why we need the kingdom. So we got a constant reminder as to why we need the kingdom.
Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
That's it. And that's why, like he was saying about, you know, everybody, and look at where we are today, because people are mourning. People are mourning, but they're all looking for solutions. However, they haven't found that one solution, which is the true solution, which is the solution Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to provide. All right. That is going to be the solution to all their, because the whole world sees what the problem is. The problem is Esau. Because remember, as he was describing everything Esau was doing, you know, literally, if I'm not the chosen, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I destroy. I mean, that's the devil, you know. So even he knew who the devil was. Even he had to agree that Esau's in rulership. And that's why this wicked empire is still wicked and everybody's mourning. But as we just read, man, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is a man of his word, man. Okay? Because check it. The Lord told Yahushai, even if you forget about us, he told Yahushai that he would have Yahushai come and rule over his enemies. So he got to fulfill that at least. And if Yahushai rules over his enemies, automatically that means we get salvation. So one way or another, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to come through for us, man.
Right.
All right? So have faith in that. We pray for fewer days, but that sudden destruction is coming, man. And if you're weak, and if you're not trusted and rooted in the words of the Lord, to where you getting deceived by what you see, man, you ain't gonna make it. So pray for more faith and pray that this place goes down, because that's what we pray for.
Yeah, don't get into that doubtful Peter spirit, man. You know, don't get into that Peter spirit where you deny your power at the time of the day of affliction.
Right.
In
When
the
it matters
face-
most.
Yeah, in the face of affliction, don't deny the power, man. You know, stay firm, stay strong. We're gonna go through it. But the Lord said, if I'm gonna put you through it, I'm gonna give you a way out of it too. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded thee, be strong and of good courage? Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord Yahweh is with thee, whithersoever thou goest, man.
All right, that's it. Hey, so with that, we're going to hear, Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Next time, shalom.